We are live. Aloha, family. Thank you for joining us. If you don't know who I am by now, my name is Brother Greg, aka the real g.LO. Hope you guys are having a blessed day. Well, let's get right into it. Today's episode is brought to you by 5 and 7 Tactical Solutions LLC. They are the premier team for tactical training and protection. Whether you're law enforcement, military, former military, maybe you are a Paul Blart, the mall cop, mall security or security in general. Maybe you're just a civilian like myself. They have all the training that you could ever get, decades of experience. They have some upcoming courses. But before I give you the dates for that, for those of you that are, very passionate about protecting yourself and your family, go to 5 and 7 Tactical Solutions LLC.com. They have everything from pistol safety courses to long gun training, obviously guard card training. Maybe you're not comfortable with firearms. Maybe you're not comfortable with guns. Well, they do have active shooter response training. Whether you are a business owner, maybe for the schools, for teachers, for churches, maybe you're doing a public event and you want to learn active shooter response training. We all know we've had something very, very recently. Had we all had something similar with the active shooter response training, would be epic. Maybe you just want to learn some self-defense training and courses. They have that as well at 5 and 7 Tactical Solutions LLC. Now they service Hawaii and Arizona for these following courses, and I'll read them out loud. They have license to carry courses August 10th, 20th, September 3rd, and 4th. They also have guard card training August 11th. They also have initial guard card training, which is August 13th, and my favorite, which is the pistol safety course, which is on September 7th. So anybody that knows my socials, I've posted videos of me firing, weapons. That's because of 5 and 7 Tactical Solutions LLC. If you're interested, go to the website. At the contact form, go ahead and mention my name, g.LO, and they'll give you $25 off of any training service package or maybe a protection package. Maybe you're a VIP and you need the top-notch team for your services. So 5 and 7 Tactical Solutions LLC.com, the premier team for tactical training and protection. That's all I'm going to talk about today in terms of promotions. But here we go, family. Today's guest, you know him as the founder of the X Factor FM network. You may know him as the X Factor FM radio guy, or maybe the host. He's probably the hottest hip hop DJ, live streamer. You'll find him on all socials, probably most prominent on Twitter, now identifying as X. A little cheap shot for you, family, but also on YouTube as well. He is the premier guy when it comes to social audio. He's been on obviously multiple platforms, podcasting. He's a genius, broadcasting, live streaming. He's actually one of the guys that I run things through when it comes to getting opinions and just, I'll pick his brain once in a while, and he's the guy. He's also a heart attack survivor, and he is also a United States Navy veteran as well. So very proud of that. And family, if you know anybody that's in the military, shoot them a text, tell them, hey, thank you for your service. It's not corny, it's not cheesy. You're just being honest and just thanking them for their service. So there's my long introduction for our next guest. You are watching g.LO Sessions number 55. That is g.LO Sessions number 55. Today's guest, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you in the next 41 seconds. You're going to get to meet Dro, the sound god, in 41 seconds. I forgot it was on loop. what the heck, Gregory? What the heck? Man, Dro the Sound God. Do you prefer Dro the Sound God, Pedro? What do you prefer when people talk to you?
It doesn't matter. Those that know me by Pedro, that's my real name. Dro the Sound God. DRO is the last three letters of my name. So, yeah, either one. Dro the Sound God, Dro, Pedro. It's all fine.
One of my best friends in life. We've kind of grown apart because of families and distance, and like any relationship, there's been ups and downs. But he was very popular here on social media, at least on this platform. Then he went to other platforms. He has an amazing YouTube channel, but his user handle is bro, air bro. So we used to have, I don't know if we had a show, we would joke about like the Glow and Bro show. I think we joked about it. I don't know if we ever did, but yours is Dro. So g.LO and Dro, that'd be funny. But hey,
G.Lo
I
and Dro.
think
I like the sound of that.
what state are you in? Are you in Florida?
I'm in Texas.
No,
Well,
Texas.
I live in Texas, and I'm currently working in Tennessee.
What? What the heck? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of traveling.
Lots of traveling.
Well, where's home for you? What is your home state, or do you have a home state?
Yeah. Home state is Houston, Texas.
Houston.
Yeah.
They don't do anything small in Texas.
No, by no means. Everything is go big or go home.
Now I'm gonna pick on you for a second. I got a good friend in he's from Wichita Falls. And by the way, Wichita Falls does not have a waterfall, family. It's a fake waterfall. It's
Yeah.
Wichita Falls is known for purifying sewer water and making it potable. That's what they're known for. So the cheap shot. But anyways, my friend Royce, I went to his house for dinner one night, and he's like, "Man, we're gonna eat good. We're gonna eat steak." So I'm like, "Okay." And I love to eat, and the steak was huge, like just massive, and it's like it smelled amazing. And I'm sitting there like I'm like trying to cut this steak, and I'm like, "Ugh, ugh," and I'm just like, and he's just grinding it with his hands. I'm like, I said, Royce, this steak is tough, man. He goes, yeah, but it's big, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, it is big. So, but yeah, they don't do nothing small in Texas, man. So now so you travel? Is that what's happening? You travel a
Yeah.
lot?
Yeah. I
Oh,
travel.
okay,
I travel for work.
nice. Family, if you don't know Joel the Sangha, that's his user handle there on the bottom. Is that your user handle on all socials?
Yes, on all socials, Drill the Sound God.
Nice.
And then over on LinkedIn, the on the other platform, professional platform, I'm go by my real name, Pedro. So you can find me over there.
We got Jen on Instagram. Did you link your Instagram as well when we went live?
I did not. No, sir.
Well, she knows you. What the heck? She's on my Instagram. She said, "What's up, Pedro?" I can't put her comment up because they don't allow it on StreamYard.
Yeah.
But who is Jen W314? You might know her.
Hmm.
I got a whole bunch of questions, but here's the thing. For those of you that don't know what we do here, we just sit here, hang out, talk story. We obviously got stuff we want to talk about, but for those that don't know from the bio, one of the things I will say this, Pedro, I'm grateful for what you did. You protected the American dream, and now you're living it. So I appreciate you for that. You know, I don't
Greatly
think
appreciate
yeah.
that.
Now the Navy. What did you do in the Navy?
So it's a funny story on the Navy. I was 18, right out of high school. I ended up going and doing all of my tests and whatnot. I joined the military because I joined in 2002. 9/11 happened in '01. So started to see a lot of the commercials, you know, Army, Marines. The one that caught my eye was the Navy, seeing them, doing special ops, the carrier with everything. But what caught my eye the most was the submarine. Didn't think I was going to be on a submarine. I wanted to be on a carrier. But what ended up happening is I did everything. But I'm colorblind. Man, being colorblind, sometimes you can't get on certain ships.
Okay,
You can be,
hold up. Did you say you're colorblind?
yeah, I'm colorblind, not fully colorblind, but I'm colorblind with red and greens. And you know the I forgot what the name of that test is that they give you to see if you're colorblind. It has all the little dots. You got to figure out the number behind the dots that they have in there. I couldn't. I flipped through the books, and the guy was asking me when I took the test, "Can you see that number?" No. Flip the next one. Can you see that number? I got out of about 45 cards, I got maybe 2 or 3. So they did a little more investigating. They were like, "Nope, you're colorblind. You can't be on a surface ship. You have to be." Um, they gave me 3 options. You can go undesignated and figure out where you fit in. Um, you can be a cook or a
Mm.
yeoman. Yeah. So I ended up being a yeoman, and then they enticed me a little more and said, "Hey, you get a little extra pay. You get some bonuses if you go on a submarine." And I was like, okay, I'll do the submarine. I'm 18 years old. They say extra pay. Of course, I'm going for the dollars. But um, yeah, fast forward. I'm a yeoman. Uh, it's like an administrative person, does all the personnel records, all the medical records, all the leave chits, payroll in a sense, HR. So all those things combined, and that's what I did. So mainly when we were in port, when I was out to sea, I drove the boat. I got to drive the submarine, so that was pretty cool.
I'll tell you this. I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask you because I had a couple of good friends in the Navy. Man, I got so many stories to share with you. But one of them was he used to always give me. I can't remember his name now. Shoot, I used to work with him, but he retired from the Navy and he was on a sub a good part of his life. And he used to always I loved the MREs. He would give me all of them. He's like, I hate these things, but they would always give them away when they were at port, whatever country.
Mm-hmm.
And he always said that when they would, uh, you know, get out of the submarine, they'd be like, people used to make fun of them. He said because they smelled funny, they acted funny because they've been, not just underwater, but they've been literally underground underwater. It's that far down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have a certain aroma about you?
Yeah. So it's not a bad aroma, but it's something different. It's the smell of amine, and on a submarine. If you think of submarine, everybody's like, well, how do you breathe? How do you get air? Well, we have these things and machines down in there that help recirculate the air. We come up ever so often to get oxygen, new oxygen. You can tell when new oxygen is being reintroduced because everybody's up. The morale gets boosted. Everybody gets a little bit of endorphins because they're getting new oxygen. But then a couple weeks go by and people get sluggish. But yeah, it's the smell of amine. Depending on where you work at, like if you're working in in the engine room and some of the other places on the ship, dealing with the mechanics and diesel oil and hydraulic fluids and all kinds of other stuff. Yeah, you'll have a little smell, but nothing a nice shower in port and some cologne won't fix.
What do you guys do with the sewage? Do you guys dump it at sea? You guys hang on? You guys hang on to it. That's why I asked the question. You guys hang on to it, right?
uh
Or is that classified? Is that classified? Is that classified?
no, it's not classified. All ships out in the ocean do it. Some more than others. Cruise liners, big ships, tankers that are coming across the sea from all different places. They all do it. But yeah.
Well, you don't want to give away your position, so you got to hang on to it sometimes, I'm guessing.
the fish that eat it end up taking it. So yeah, just be mindful of that. But no, yes, so the majority of it, yes, is kept on ship. But yes, we do blow some big tanks that we have. They get too full depending on how far you're out, how many months you are on deployment. Yes, we'll have to blow sanitary tanks.
Can you tell us what fish not to eat?
Uh, that's a good question. So I was on the I was on the Atlantic coast, stationed out of Groton, Connecticut. So anything coming from the Atlantic, I would say don't eat. But no, it's not like that. We try to keep as much as possible, and for that very reason, you don't want to contaminate the earth and the water and whatnot, wildlife. But you know, when we have to, we have to. I think there's something that is in there that makes it, biodegradable and ends up going into the ocean, gets filtered out, and yeah.
You ever watch those videos on India and how they kind of don't care? You've seen how they just dump everything in is it Ganges? I forget the river, Ganges, whatever. They
Mm-hmm.
just dump it all in the river, like
Yep.
whatever.
Loaded with trash and dump everything. Yeah,
And they take a bath in it too. And they wash clothes, everything.
it's crazy. I
But
I,
it
cou-
makes
I,
me,
I couldn't
yeah, I don't,
imagine doing that.
well, they've been doing it for they've been doing it for generations, right?
Right.
And that's their thinking. Hey, it's fine. It makes me think though, if everything we have, this probably sounds stupid, but if everything we have in this planet is in this planet, how do we destroy ourselves if everything is from it to begin with? I know that
You,
sounds stupid, but
no. In the circle of life, like you think about the circle of life. Something is born, is grown, is there's seeds that then lead to flowers, which then get pollinated, which then you know grow more flowers, and same thing like on the carnivorous thing. you know Something has to grow to die for something else to grow, and it's just the circle of life. And I think that makes a good point, and it's not dumb, because again, we're on this earth. Everything comes and is here from the earth, so why not, um you know how are we destroying ourselves? What's going on,
right.
soul?
um, I had a really profound statement and it left my brain because Soul Amazing got my attention. I know what I'll say, family. For those of you that are watching us live, we are live on Instagram. I'm gonna try to read them. We're live on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, Instagram, and also on Pedro's socials as well. We are going to be live on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and YouTube Podcasts later on this evening. And so, typically when I do a podcast, we don't chase. We try not to chase squirrels. I chase them pretty well. We want to honor our guests as much as possible. But if you put up a ton of emojis, we have no choice but to see your comments. So, appreciate you. In regards to India just blasting the entire planet with trash and sewage, and of course the Navy, we know that they do it with wisdom. They when they have to. The
Cautiously, yes.
only Yeah, cautiously. The only exception I'll make probably to what I just said was probably splitting the atom is probably the only thing I think that would probably prove against what I just said, right? The atomic bomb, right?
Hmm.
If everybody did it at the same time. And Annie Jacobson, you ever heard of her? She's a
Mm,
investigative journalist,
I think I have,
really
yes.
smart. Yeah, she's been on a couple of podcast talk shows. She wrote a book, I think, called Nuclear War. She talks about obviously military, Navy, how everybody is like within. I forget the time frame. I'm just going to throw a fake number. I think 72 minutes. So if our president gets any word or indication that there's a nuclear weapon being launched at the United States, he's got 6 minutes to make a decision. And within that 6 minutes, up into the 72-minute mark, the entire planet can be toast
Hmm.
just because of an action within that first 6 minutes. That means the Navy, like yourself, every
Hmm.
other branch military, they're already mobilized within that 1 hour time frame.
Yep.
And it all starts with that first initial verbiage, word, whatever, right? That word or words that were interpreted or misinterpreted. But she talks a lot about that. And the Navy, of course, is in that because Lord knows how many subs they have around the planet right now. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. And not subs around the planet, and not only our Navy, right? Other navies that are out there that are also, patrolling international waters and close to home waters, so uh yeah, it's
a
definitely.
lot of Russian too, right? A lot of Russian subs.
Hmm. What's
Yeah.
going on, Tala?
Tala Smith is in the house. You guys know Tala. She's one of our resident speakers as well. And then we've got Chris Rossetti, Pastor Chris out there on Instagram. Thank you for joining us. Um, well, are you in reserves or are you like, hey, I'm done military?
Yeah, no, I'm done.
You're
I'm done.
done.
Yeah.
You're living it now.
Yes.
You know what people don't realize, Pedro, is that if we are to ever get into a place where there's a war, you're probably the one house that everybody's going to go to that knows you, right? Just for the sheer fact
Yeah.
that you've got that, right? That you've got that experience.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And with that, anybody that, and I will tell everybody that's listening, if you have somebody that's in the military that has recently gotten separated from the military, talk to them. Talk to them and figure out those plans in case stuff hits the fan. Uh, you know, what to do, where to go, how to react, how to be prepared. So, and practice that, practice your preparedness.
do you have a go bag or a go
Yes,
kit? You do.
yes, yeah. We keep a couple go bags. One in my wife's car, one in my truck, one at the house that the girls can carry that have their things in it. So yeah, go bags, definitely get them.
I got to work on, and I actually got to work on hours, but I'm trying to get uh, license to carry in Oregon and have something in that too because I didn't. It's different here than in Hawaii, but now I'm thinking it's not going to be that different much longer. But just going into Portland, for example, I know guys that always carry when they're in Portland, and they got a vest even when with their wife and kids, and they rarely bring their wife and kids into the city of Portland. But having a go bag with those kind of things and just being ready, and I, I'm I have to remind myself always reverse my car into my driveway with a full tank.
Mm-hmm.
Those little things that we don't talk about, right? Having a full tank of gas, your go bags, and just have everything ready to go. And we have, I don't know, my wife is good about this. She's a prepper, if I would say she is. We have, I don't know, 50 gallons of water in our bar. We have a little barn.
Mm-hmm.
It's not purified, but we have it just in case we need it. And yeah, go bags are. Can you walk me through? Give me a description of one of your go bags that we can share with everyone watching.
Yeah, no. So one of the go bags, three um, clips, 2 boxes of ammo. Um, we have heavy duty first aid kit, broken down, taken out of it, and put it in the pouches. Has Israeli bandage. Has There we go. Sorry, has a Israeli bandage. Has blood stop. We have what else do I have in there? No, I'm drawing a blank. I got a couple of knives, lots of paracord, shovels, uh, 2 compasses, 3 boxes of all-weather lighters and matches. We have a couple topo maps that just in case we need to get out of the car and how to trek the terrain. Couple of MREs, couple of things to keep us going for at least day and a half, 2 days, and this is in all the go bags that we have. So yeah, and a couple other things that I'm forgetting: life straw, water purifying kit, big tarp that's get that got vacuum sealed so that way compressed. Yeah, couple of couple of things help us survive in case something happens.
Two things. I'll tell you this. The survival kit in Hawaii. If anybody knows when there's a hurricane coming, you better go to Costco because we're going to run out of spam and we're going to run out of toilet paper. Those are the two things that always run out when there's a hurricane coming. I don't know why that is, but toilet paper and spam. Um, shoot, I was going to say, oh, you said topo maps, right? So a lot of people don't even know what that is. They're like, when they open it up, they're like, what is this paper, right? Because we're so like Google Maps everything, right? Apple Maps everything. Yeah. Do you make your own trails, or have you made your own trails or your own maps, so to speak? Or have you ever had to
Yeah,
do that?
we've had, and we went through it a couple of times to what paths, trails we're going to take. Because again, a lot of people are going to be on the highway if something happens. It's going to be
Right.
gridlock. You're probably going to get stuck somewhere. So, worst case scenario, we, made some trails where we're meeting at out, off the grid where there's not going to be a lot of people or population coming through. So train the girls on how to read the topography maps, how to look at the compass, um, how to personally carry uh, firearms that we might need. So
That's a good point, and that's something I told my boys. We're gonna take the time with them. Um, Another thing we did was my wife. We have these in every room because here where we live, it's a fire season, and I've never heard of fire season. Like Hawaii doesn't have fire season. We're like, what the heck? So we have each room has like fire extinguishers. I think we have fire blankets. We have an axe in case you got to bust through, the window or the wall. You're gonna make a hole in the wall to get out of the house. Um, so every room has that. My oldest son, I think he drew a map so everybody knows, hey, when if we get separated, this is where we're gonna meet.
mhm.
Fortunately, there's a hospital right down the street, so it's not too hard. I think he made it to the dollar store. There's a dollar store. I think that's where our meeting place was. So we can get some snacks. Um, yeah. Here's what I'll say. Let me put this up real quick because Sarah took the time to type up something very, very thorough. Here we go. Here's Sarah out there on Twitch. Hey, Sean out there in Instagram. I'm going to read a comment for those that can't see it. Culture shock for me. This is Sarah in Newfoundland, Canada. She said, culture shock for me when you talk about carrying weapons, watching border security shows, and I seen a lady make a wrong turn to the border crossing, then trying to get to the park, and had a gun in the diaper bag, and I was jaw dropped. Recently, kids here had toy guns and were walking down the street and got taken home by the cops after being surrounded, taken down, almost arrested.
Wow,
Interesting.
very
That's
interesting.
I saw a video last night, and I won't get into the political aspect of it. It's still funny though. The conversation was, do you believe in the limiting or not limiting of weapons for American citizens? And one of the phrases that the individual used was to ban weapons of war. And of course, the the interviewer had to ask, what is a weapon of war? And that's an honest question, right? So, and it led down to where the person was saying, a weapon of war is anything that the military uses. So, we can go heavy on the political side of it, but then the discussion went, you should only have a certain amount of rounds. You're only allowed to have. And so the interviewer said, so you're telling me that I've got to be a great shot? You mean that I got to have an amazing accuracy under stressful situations?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that is a very valid question, you know, or statement to, if just imagine if we banned weapons of war, right? And not just here in the United States, but if we, again, there's peace treaties and alliances and everything. If everybody abolished weapons of war, then everybody would just have to worry about stuff locally, if that makes sense, right? Potential guns and other weapons,
Yeah.
and yeah, but
It's a funny term to me because weapon of war is like, well, I guess like what defines a weapon of war? Like if you go to Hawaii in 1697, a weapon of war was a spear with a bunch of rocks. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
all of my Samoan friends, your weapon of choice is on a rock. And that's a joke, by the way. My to all my Samoan friends, I'm just joking. But weapon of war it's almost sounds political to me because there's really like in a war situation, I'm going to use anything and everything, and obviously missiles and rocket launchers. I don't know if you know, but it is a scary discussion to have to allow the government to come in and tell you like who enforces that, right? Let's say they pass any law, any bill, who's going to enforce it, right?
Mhm.
My friend David Padilla, the company I promoted in the beginning, 5 and 7 Tactical Solutions, he said something very profound. He asked me, "Hey, Greg, so how do you stop a gun, someone with a gun who has bad intentions? How do you stop me from going into the courthouse and shooting up the judge and all the people in the courthouse?" And he said, "More guns. You need guys with more guns to stop that guy with the gun." And I found that an interesting statement because he says, the last day he went to the court, did you ever see a sheriff without a weapon? No, they have weapons.
Nope.
They have guns. And I said, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Um, let's put us in comments real quick. Tala put up an exploding. I don't even know what that is.
A rock.
Exploding mic. Oh, is that a rock?
Yeah, and I think it was to Sarah's comment
Oh, I got you.
about David took down Goliath with the slingshot and stone.
If we're gonna get into scripture, I'll tell you this much: the Goliath took him down with a slingshot and a stone, but he also took a sword and chopped his head off. So, yeah. But and we're talking a lot about military. So now you've got four. How many kids you got? Four kids.
4 daughters.
That's right. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have another bathroom just for yourself? Huh?
Yeah. I wish we could do that to where it's just my throne per se, but no, I mean, me and my wife have the master bathroom, and
Okay.
all the other kids, believe it or not, have uh there's 2 bathrooms upstairs and then a half bath downstairs, so there's enough for everybody if stuff got really crazy to use. But when dad has to go, y'all move out the way and make room.
I can tell you a funny story. So in Hawaii, our house had. Okay, I gotta count. I gotta visualize it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we had 4 bathrooms. Um, and for some reason, even with the 4 bathrooms, there's this one bathroom that always got crowded. And I'm like, what the heck, guys? We got like 3 other bathrooms. Go use the other. And they're always fighting over that one bathroom. I always found that interesting. I don't know what it is, but I do feel for you, Pedro, because at least me, I can blame my 2 sons. I can blame them for not putting the seat down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they know it's me. They know when dad's in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, are you done having kids?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My youngest is 13 in 8th grade. I am done. Almost done. Off to college here in a couple years, and then it'll just be me and the wife traveling the world.
Now, this is a personal question, and you don't have to answer it. But now, are you I'm going to give you the rundown. Okay, are you psychologically, emotionally, mentally done, and physically, or is it just one of the? Because if it's physically, that means you can't. So it's
No,
a
no,
funny.
no. No. I'm psychologically, mentally, emotionally done with kids. No more
So
kids.
physically, it's still possible.
Yes, very possible. but we are cautious, very cautious when it comes to that. No more kids. We were just, me and my wife were just talking about that the other day. That, we were like, at our age right now, what will we do? What will we be like as new parents again, right? To a new child. I'm like, I don't want to deal with diapers and formula and crying and toddlers and hissy fits and mom, dad. No, no, none of that. Here,
That's funny.
the kids now, I have a 19-year-old that's in college. My eight, fixing to be 18-year-old is in is a senior. Have a junior, and then my eighth grader. They're all self-sufficient. They don't need very much maintenance or care. They can fend for themselves. Three of them are are driving. Like, we're almost to that sweet spot to where they're going off to college and doing their thing, and then me and the wife now get to enjoy the fruits of our hard labor as parents.
Well, this is what's going to happen when we have an empty nest. I'm going to walk around buck naked, no care, or
Mm.
maybe just underwear, stomach
Mhm.
sticking out. I don't care. You can't really do that right now. It's like my wife is like, put on some clothes. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. I'm just going to the bathroom. you know, uh, population. What is the word? Population collapse. You ever heard that term? By Elon. I think it's Elon who said it.
Mhm.
Because we were taught that we're overpopulating this planet. But if you know, Elon has like, I think, what, 11 kids or something? Right,
11, I
11.
believe. Yeah.
Yeah. And he always talks about there's a population collapse coming. And so I looked it up. I fact checked him in a way, and what he said was true. Um, in the era of diapers, you ever heard of this theory, the diaper theory? It's very interesting.
Mm-mm.
How there's more adult diaper sales, they literally dwarf baby diaper sales just in the United States alone. That's crazy if you think about it. That means there are more adults wearing diapers than babies.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. But we see it in culture, right? Like where people are like, family, if this is you, we're not judging you in any way. I'm just talking, but I'm a family guy. I had started having kids when I was young, not super young, but um, I think I was 23, 24 when we had our first kid. But there are people now that are not going to have kids until they're until after 30, or sometimes even pushing 40, and that's including women. It's like what are we doing from now, like from college to 30? What are they doing? Well, they're partying, enjoying life, doing all these, which is fine. Just, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Well, you're skipping a generation,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like the family structure. I don't know who's a lot of Polynesians still have this because in Hawaii, for example, the average age of a person when they die is about 80. They have the highest life expectancy in the United States, which is around 80, 81 years old. Um, Hawaii has a lot of generational living. So I know we're talking about kids, right? Um, it's funny because I miss having babies crying, which sounds funny. I do. I don't miss changing the diapers. I miss having the little munchkins or running around. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
but
the crying, the midnight feedings, and see the thing that me and my wife ended up doing, and with all the girls. Yes, teenage years definitely the fun are fun until they get to about 14, 15 years old. Then they think they know it all. But no, we did that with all the kids. Like my wife, you know, had all the carried the girls, and to give her some time, I would take time off of work and let her kind of recoup a little bit. All the midnight feedings I would end up doing, so she can get back to as much as she possibly could, you know, before I had to go back. So I think that, but yeah, the midnight feedings, sometimes I didn't feel like getting up, but I got up anyway. Got to do what you got to do. Put the kids to sleep. And yeah, no, I remember, you know, them pushing around their diaper boxes and them, you know, playing in the small little kiddie pools. And now they're young women that are driving. And luckily, believe it or not, I have not had to deal with boyfriends. Thank you, Jesus.
I would think maybe, I don't know, I'm just guessing, but I think having a military parent is a little bit different than someone that's not a military parent. I'm just a broad generalization, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. And I'm sure you just raised them well, you know.
Yeah, and gave them the example of how a man should treat a woman, with how me and my wife interact with each other, but then also, you know, very structured, disciplined. Um, you know, if you're gonna do something, do it to the fullest, finish it out. You know, always tell the truth, have integrity, you know, morals and values that will go on with them, not only in their, you know, growing stages, but as they become adults and start making adult decisions. So I think that that also helped. There's been some ups and downs and
Oh, I'm
definitely
sure.
butted heads with all of my daughters, but it's good. Growing pains.
I'm glad I got a mix because I love having daughters. I love having sons. I will say that as a father, I'm learning to not yield. I don't know if that's even a word, but like when my daughter has her, their time of the month, it's like I got to be a little bit more considerate. Sometimes there's emotions that just go a little bit haywire. Like I tell my wife, "What's going on? Like, why is she so grouchy? She's not even like, I didn't even do it." It's just one of those things. I got to learn how to. Now,
Yeah.
boys are no different to me because they're at the age where they're getting aggressive. That's part of their development, right? So we got to navigate them through that. And, we're territorial as men, right? So
Hmm.
now you got three men in the house, two young men growing up. You got to figure out, hey, this is my boundary and this is my house, right? So you got to teach them all those things. Hey, let's put up a comment for our Instagram and everybody else that's not on Twitch. Here's Sarah on Twitch. It's the people used to be having kids in their late teens, and it was normal, but now everyone is career focused first. Also, think of the era such as baby boomers and the cost of living factors. That's a great conversation to have. The thing is, so me and Pedro are at the age, right, where having grandkids is a reality, right? When it's time, not too
Yeah.
soon.
Not
Yeah,
too
yeah,
soon, but yes.
right. One of the things that I don't know how. Now, what ethnicity are you, Pedro?
I'm Hispanic. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know
Well,
you ever
born and raised here in the United States. Parents are from Mexico.
met both parents? Okay.
Yeah.
Reason why I asked that because there are certain cultures, right, that are still have that grandparents. No, you stay with us until you die. Typical American culture, they don't have that. Like
Mhm.
it's like when I have my own family, you go live in your own house, and when you're sick, we're going to put you in a care home. That's the normal. I feel I might be wrong, but just in general. But here, well, like my dad lives with us, not in the house. He has his own place next to us. My mother-in-law used to live with us. She went back to Hawaii, but they're both widows and widower. But that wisdom that they bring to the table, man, it's golden nuggets every single day.
Mhm.
And I think that's important, in our culture to have that. But I don't see that. And Sarah brought up that comment about people having kids later. While I kind of agree with the career things, but we were talking about kids, and you said you're done, kind of done, right? So
Mhm.
my wife wants two more. So, or we want two more, and however the time of that works. So we will have a total of six. organic, and we have a couple of babies in heaven. But I don't know. We want more kids, and I think the way people are raised today is like I'm gonna plan my future with kids, right? So I have a couple of friends that they coordinated their baby, their I don't know the word, their baby timing, if you
Hmm.
will.
Yeah, the try and the
Yeah,
stars aligned. Yeah, yeah.
but with their friends. So they hey, let's have babies around this time. And my wife and I were like, we can't do that because we're not supposed to have kids in the first place. So when we were able to have them, bro, let's just have them. You know what I mean? It's like I,
Yeah,
I don't know how it's hard for us to have that mindset where when we're ready we'll have kids. No, you don't understand. We're not supposed to have kids, period. But we do now, right? So yeah, but to answer Sarah's comment, um, that is true what she said. Tala Smith says there are more young people living with parents as adults now due to the economy.
that is true.
Huh.
That is true. My 19-year-old is still living at home. She tried. She tried to go out. She getting ready to turn 18. I'm an adult. I can go live on my own. We said, okay, go ahead, test out the waters, figure out, if you can make it out there. And I told her the world is a very cold and harsh place for a young person that isn't fully all the way an adult, right? You're still in a sense a teenager, but society classifies you as an adult. So and she is now back living at home. And that's okay. And I told her, as long as she's going to school, she has her, her job and whatnot, and she's, making steps to better herself, by all means, it'll save you on, paying rent. You'll still be able to, eat the food. Now, if you decide to go spend your money on other food, well, hey, that's you. You're spending your own money, but it'll allow her to save up some money for when she graduates,
Mm,
college, and then potentially goes gets, her first home, not an apartment, but an actual home that she can purchase and put in her name,
yeah.
something that she'll be able to have and maintain.
Do you think we've might sound harsh, but like my oldest daughter, she graduated college this past year and she got married, and uh, thank God they don't live with us. But I mean that in a good way, you know. But I don't know. Do you think that not just you and me, but in general, do you think that we've what's the word? Do you think we chop the legs off of our own kids, generationally speaking? Like why is it that they can't survive on their own, right? Like what are the factors to that? Is it I take responsibility for me personally, but I don't know. What do you think?
Back when I and my wife first had kids, we were very young. So in a sense, it was young adults raising kids. There was even some kids raising kids, kind of to what Sarah ended up saying. But now the adults aren't passing down the necessities, the life skills that are needed now to make it in society. And I think that's why, kind of to what Tala had said, is more young people living at home, because we want to keep them sheltered, we want to keep them in
Yep.
from what our society is today. But I also believe that in order for them to grow as young adults, they have to take a couple of those bumps in order to figure out and find their way.
Yep. I think as parents, we gotta let them make the mistakes and not get heartbroken when they like. I won't say names, but we had and because of our ministry duties and all that, but we've had people that were in a very dark place, like financially speaking. And so I said, well, I'll just say family, but and I said, how much money you need? And so they told me the dollar amount. I said, well, you have a car? Yeah, I got a car. Okay. And so I drew out a little plan. I said, well, I want you to open your iPhone, go to the app store. I want you to download 3 apps. These apps are going to make sure you get the amount of money you need by the end of the day. You get it deposited into your bank account. And so one of the apps was Uber Eats, DoorDash, Roadie. Like the
Hmm.
truth is, it's possible. It may suck for a minute having to go out there and go do something different and learn a new skill, whatever. But Mike Rowe said this. I don't know if you know who Mike Rowe is. He used to have the dirtiest jobs.
Yeah, the
TV
dirtiest jobs. Yep.
Yeah. He said that we have an epidemic right now in the nation of, I think the number went down, but he said there are 10 million men that are unemployed in the United States. And it's not that they can't work, and it's not that they're not able to find work. It's because they don't want to. Not that they don't want to work. They don't want to work the jobs that are available. So, and I'm not being judgmental, fact, because I've been unemployed too, but there's a lot of people that are not working because they don't want to do the jobs that is not glamorous, right? So,
Mhm.
I mean, I understand. Like, we live with my parents. After we got married, we lived with them for a year. I'm not gonna say it sucked because it was a blessing in disguise, and so we were able to save up and we bought a house. After the first year of marriage, and so and that's just my parent. My parents helped us in that, so it's not like we don't come from generational wealth or anything, but my parents instilled those values. So I don't know. I think this would be a good segue into what we're talking about because you defended the American dream. Now you're living it, and obviously you have a 9 to 5, right? But
Mhm.
never before, and you can give me some insight into it, but never before in our generation have we been able to generate income without having to fill out a job application, without having to go into a building and say, "Can you please hire me? Can you please give me a job, please?" Now we can generate income outside of that. Now, not saying there's nothing wrong with that 9 to 5, right?
All right.
So, with your the X Factor FM network, let's talk about that because I think that's something what we're talking about. I think there's a tip of that where it may produce something crazy financially, right? What was your thought process with the X Factor FM network?
Yeah. So the X Factor FM network, when I first got onto podcasting and started doing podcasting, I got into it. Um, one of my mentors ended up having his own network, and I became a part of that. And um, what transpired and kind of got my wheels turning was all the intricate things that he was doing with his own network, having a list of different podcasts on there, had the online radio station, had other live streams that were starting to get pushed out. So as I grew, as I learned more, I figured, hey, let me start up my own network. So the X Factor FM network came about out of the passion and love that I have for podcasting and live streaming. Got into broadcasting, and then comes this great thing called social audio. So that also plays a big portion into it. And what I want to do with the X Factor FM network is independent podcasts that are out there, independent live streamers that are out there, kind of build a platform that we can all collectively get our heads together. Still kind of in the early stages, but get our heads together, be able to cross promote, cross pollinate, and cross advertise, right? Advertisers that are out there looking to get a broader audience will then be able to pay all the podcasters that and their shows and monetize the network.
Who is shoot, I can't remember. I always forget their names when I go live. The guy that's fighting Mike Tyson. What's his name? Blonde haired guy.
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. So if you remember Jake Paul and his brother, I forget his brother's name,
Logan Paul.
but they started what you're talking about. So they were a part of a team of people, and I don't know. I think they lived in a house together. There's more details. I think Tyler may know this, but so when Twitter bought Vine, they paid 90 million, whatever it was. They bought Vine and they bought the technology, bought all the engineers. Well, there was this team of guys: Rudy Mancuso, the Paul brothers, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Brittany Furlan, King Bach, the black dude, Bach. They're all funny people.
Mm-hmm.
But they got famous through Vine. I don't know if anybody even remembers that, but they got so famous from Vine. They were making like unbelievable money and views. But then when Twitter botched that's public information. And so those content creators went to other platforms and became who they are today. But they had a team, like what you were saying, like they collaborated in videos with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it all in 6 seconds. If you remember when Vine came out, you had 6 seconds to make content.
Yep.
And they did it.
They did it. Yeah. It was very quick. I remember King Bach and all the little skits that he had on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. Vine, if they were to bring back Vine, there would be the birth of some new creators, some new superstars. I tell you that.
The thing is, they did bring something back on Twitter 2 years ago, which was fleets, right? Which was kind of like their version of Instagram stories. There's so many great ideas, and I'm not sure. There's obviously a lot of politics within the company prior to Elon. Now there's not enough people for politics because he fired like 80% of the employees. But yeah, what they had with the team, right, was what you're talking about. So would I be considered an independent podcaster? I guess so, right? Because I don't have a corporate sponsorship. Not yet. So
right. And you're not on, and I say independent. You're not a part of a network. Like Limonada, iHeartRadio, any of those big networks yet.
I'm not Joe Rogan with it. He just got signed for $250 million for like 3 years. It's crazy. And he just had a $200 million contract.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it's not about the money, but family, that's generational finances. Papa Bear Alaska and Instagram. Good to see you, brother. And by the way, Papa Bear Alaska is my first podcast guest ever. So it's good to see you, Papa Bear. But yeah, I will tell you this though. Now, do you podcast? Where do you podcast out of? Is it primarily through like live streaming platforms?
When I do live, I do that. But then there's also I utilize the live stream and turn it into a podcast, audio podcast. Chop some of them up, put them on YouTube. So I put the lives on YouTube. But yeah, chop it up and edit it. Little edits. I don't try to over edit and just a couple of the filler words, some dead air, dead space, and then intro, outro, and then call it good. But yeah, that's Apple, Spotify, Google is no longer going to be there.
They just migrated it to YouTube. So
YouTube,
yeah. So for anybody that is interested in podcasts, so when you do your podcasts and you do your RSS feed, it'll send it to YouTube podcast. So which is pretty, I don't know, it's kind of interesting that it shows up as a video on YouTube, but it's an actual RSS feed, so it just automatically sends it, which is kind of interesting or cool. So do you have, is your network, is it free to join, or do you have people pay money?
No, it's free to join, and what I'm currently working on with a couple other podcasters is us coming up with a good strategy. Nobody's paying anything until the network starts to flourish and make money. And then once we get some of the bigger advertisers, Rode, Shure, other Canon, shout out Canon, Sony. But and once we start bringing in some advertisers, start generating some of the ad revenue, that gets divvied up between the podcasters. live streamers, content creators.
You can tell the big contract guys. I'll use Spotify as an example. So there's like a handful of people that everybody knows. When you hear them, all the commercials are the same companies,
Yep.
which I think that's genius. But the dead giveaway is if Roseanne Barr is promoting Manscaped shavers, you, you know that there's a corporate. But hey,
Yeah.
I sent them emails. I sent them an email. I sent who did I send email to? But you ever heard of Butcher Box?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I sent them a whole media kit and email. I said, hey man, I would love to promote your products. Um, and of course they send you back a general email. But I think having someone like a marketing team where they can secure all these contracts, put them in one big box, and say,
Mm-hmm.
"Great, here we go. You guys get a piece of this, piece of that," and based upon viewership and I've been hustling with mine. So I have Archon's been with me for a very long time, and that's just commission based. It's not like on a contract per se. It's basically products, right? So it's like I get a percentage per product, and of course, all the other companies I promote. There's one I just picked up. It's called One Shot Energy, and anybody can get them. It,
Mm-hmm.
it really depends on your following, but One Shot Energy, they have this product called Voice Drops, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna promote the heck out of it. When it comes in the mail, I'm gonna promote the heck out of it. And all it is like it's like a lozenge, right? It's like Halls or Ricola, but yeah. Sarah asks if I promote Irie. I used to have a partnership with them, but I didn't make any money from them, so I dropped them. So that's
Yeah.
the thing, right, Pedro? Like I always tell people, find a company that's willing to partner up with you, and if it doesn't work out, go to the next one. You
Yeah.
know.
Exactly. And I also think that it's very key with within your own network. Figure out who within your own network currently. Yeah, you want to go land something like a Spotify deal for 250 million, but even
GSL.
within your own network, people have businesses, have products that they sell, have certain things that they might want to promote a course if it's a teacher or type of educator. So ask within your network and
Hmm.
see what kind of synergies lie there, because a lot of times if you start to promote this product, you start building your following within your community. Well, now your community members start to see, hey, maybe I can get my product on that podcast or that live stream out in front of viewers, and you help each other out.
Well, that's what I did with 5 and 7. So for anybody that catches the beginning, I 5 and 7 was well, not was, is a friend of mine. I've known him for 20 years. That's his side. That's not even his side hustle because he that's his passion. I'll leave it at that. He's a cop, but he teaches people firearm safety, and he helps people get recertified for security guards, law enforcement certifications. I promote his company, and I won't share the financial details, but like there's ways we can connect with people, and then of course Champagne, right? Champagne's apothecary. I'm not sure if you
Mhm.
partner up with her, but she's a great example. Um, there's you heard of the ice plunge, right? Everybody does know the ice plunge.
Mhm.
Have you ever seen the pool that Joe Rogan has? It's
I think
called
I have.
Interesting Story. So there's a long. I'll try to condense the story. So I met this guy here in Oregon, in Central Oregon. Um, he needed a ride, so I dropped him off at his warehouse, and he said, "Hey, you want to check something out?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll check it out." And this huge warehouse, and there's these. I thought they were jacuzzis, but it's called Blue Cube.
Mhm.
So if anybody wants to look at Blue Cube, they're made in Oregon. Okay, but here's the funny. I didn't know who this guy was, and I didn't. Not that I didn't care. I just thought nice guy. We were talking, so I told him, "Hey, I want to come back and do a promo if you don't mind." He's yeah, just let me know. And I never did follow through yet, but so these blue cubes are basically they replicate Arctic rivers basically from snowmelt, and it reproduces the it's like a jacuzzi but for ice baths.
Mhm.
And the reason why it's effective is because the temperature is always consistent. And I thought those, and they're not cheap. They start at like 18 grand up to
Mhm.
50, 60, 70, depending what you do with it. But To confirm your story or what you're saying, find within your network. Theo Vaughn shared a story. I don't know how many, it was like 10, 15, 20 years ago. He used to do ads for this Italian restaurant and didn't get much money from it, but he just did it anyway. He did ads before his podcast. He promoted this guy's Italian restaurant. Fast forward 15 years later, that's the guy who has Blue Cube.
Wow.
Huge company, massive company.
Hmm.
Like millions in revenue every year. You never know, bro, who your next partnership's going to be with.
And it's crazy. And, you know, especially now in the day and age that, you know, you have these micro influencers that are, you know, getting get in front of people. A lot of times their videos are up there, you know, with views. It does not hurt to reach out to somebody in the DM. Hey, I would like to, you know, I like all you. Now don't go in there cold. Actually go look at some of their content, because if you just go in there salesy, of course they're going to tell you no. But if you go in there, you know, go look at their content, see what resonates, how you could potentially help them. That's where you're more inclined to get somebody that's willing to invest in you. How can you help them? Are you putting more eyes? Are you helping sell product? Are you making videos that, you know, promote the product? You know, and then the micro influencers, if you reach out to them, hey, I have this product, I have this idea that I need some help promoting. Would you be willing to, you know, do it and negotiate?
Speaking of influencers, I got some popping up on Instagram. Is Isabel? It's good to see you, bro. It's been a long time. She was here on Twitter, Periscope back in the day. Papa Bear Alaska as well. You just never know how these partnerships, relationships will pan out later on. There's a lot of people that, and you know what's funny is we talk about, well, how do you present yourself? There was this one company, I've shared this before, but there's this one company I approached and I said, hey, I gave my whole, I had back then, I didn't know what a media kit was. I just made something and I gave it to him and I sat down with the owner of the company and I said, and I'm going to paraphrase it. I said, I want an electric bike. I want to take it home and use it every day. I'm going to use it to go to work. I'm going to promote your bikes, live stream. I'm going to live stream, do promos and bike reviews. And Tala knows this story. And actually, Sarah and a lot of people that are watching, they've seen these videos. And the agreement was, I promote, sell, I get a commission based upon that. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of, I think deep down inside, I just wanted a bike. But the bikes were expensive. Like they started like $2,500. So the company was Pedigo. For anybody that knows e-bikes, Pedigo is one of the original big time corporate e-bike companies.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I didn't sell one bike, Pedro, not one. So I took the bike back and I said, you know what, I'm sorry, I wasn't able to fulfill my end of the agreement. And I missed that bike. I miss having bikes to, you know, it was cool, man. I go 25 miles an hour, just flying it, you know, and but I wasn't able to, on my end for me, it was hard, but then that's just an excuse. I probably could have promoted even better, but sometimes they don't work out, right? Mm-hmm. And you said micro influencers. We didn't have impressions back then. Nobody cared about impressions. They just want to know how many followers you got.
Right. You know, yeah, definitely. And the old CPM model, right? When you think about like advertisers, the way they looked at things back then, they were looking at how many eyes could I get this ad put in front of, and that's really what they looked at. So if you had a decent following, well, you know, some advertisers are willing to work with you and negotiate price. Now it's, you know, okay, well, how many downloads are you getting? How many views are you getting? Impressions are you getting on the content that you're putting out there? So, I mean, if your content is decent enough and you have a decent enough following, but I say micro influencers because they're not all the way viral yet. They've had, you know, some virality to them, but they're on the the uptick. They're rising to stardom, you know. So check out
What
micro influencers.
what would you consider an influencer or a micro influencer?
g.LO. No, I mean, so if you think, and people think influencers, Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, right? Some of the, the verified checks over on Instagram, your Instagram models and influencers that, like the guys that sell the sunglasses. What are they called? Blenders, I think it is.
Then-
So they would be considered an influencer in the sunglass industry on how they promote, on how they do. If you look at their videos, micro influencers, they are smaller, but still, I believe, more powerful sometimes because of the foundation that they have built to become a micro influencer, getting brand deals, promoting different products constantly, lots of turnaround on different products. So I think it plays a big part in just being yourself. I think a lot of overproduction uh, was cool back 2012, 2013, right? Now we just need to see real, like real
yeah,
life.
yeah. Sarah on Twitch said followers don't mean views. Some people follow just because they could be doing a friend a favor. Blah, yep, true. Or maybe because one of the time contests you'd like. I'll add to that because I'm a big stickler for retention rates, right? Like it doesn't matter if you. We have people on. We'll pick on Twitter for a second. We got people on Twitter that have close to 1 million or 1 million followers, but when you look at their content, you got like 25 people liking it, or even if it's 500 people liking it, which is a lot. But my thing is, how can you have 1 million people following, but only 500 people like it? There's a disconnect somewhere, right? Or when you go live, nobody watches, or even on replay, right? And then when you are live, or when you do a spaces out like social audio, like people come in, but they don't participate, right? They just sit there and listen, which is fine. Um, uh, Unfortunately, Twitter doesn't release the details on that. There are ways you can get it, but on live video, I can pull up retention rates. I can pull up, how long somebody stayed in, the average minutes or the average seconds. Actually seconds. Um, Typically, if I have a lot of viewers, my retention rate is lower, so the average time watch is lower. If I have less viewers, typically the retention rates are higher, so they'll stay in there longer and listen.
Mm-hmm.
As a quote unquote content creator or someone that's got a message, I agree. Like the high production was great, but what's the return on that? Are people actually going to sit there and watch the whole video, or are they just going to like it out of courtesy, right? Or are they actually going to share it out? Are they actually going to participate and stay in there and actually consume the content?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the retention rate is because we got people. I think you're one of them. Who else? There's a guy on Twitter on X called his name is Journeyman, and I see another guy in here, Uncle Holix Poo Poo. Sorry, I'm chasing squirrels, but Uncle Holix Poo Poo's on Instagram. He's a good example.
Mm-hmm.
He I bought his raw fish, his lomi eel. Oh my gosh, broke them out, which means it's really good. But retention rates. Journeyman, I had to find the squirrel, but Journeyman, he's not a big account, but when he posts content, people tend to stay longer or consume his content longer. And he's not a huge account.
Mm-hmm.
Who else can we? Nick Bibu. You ever heard of Nick Bibu?
Mm-hmm.
Bibu. He's got a lot of people that consume his content. He doesn't have a lot of followers, but he's a micro influencer with a big punch.
Yep.
If you will.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And a lot of times the micro influencers, believe it or not, are mightier than, the big influencers. The big influencers, I think, are having to deal with so much high level stuff going on that the micro influencers pack a mightier punch because they can move people with that retention rate, with that engagement, hey guys, I have a new product that's coming out, or I have a new course that's coming out, and these micro influencers know how to tap into community. I think once you get to that influencer status, you start paparazzis and everything that start to you are now more influencing with your power the dollars that are getting spent in the big corporate America on how to push products to everybody versus dealing with real people on the day to day.
Well, here's an honest question. Let's pick on somebody. Well, let's pick on me. I have 4,000 followers. I don't think they even have the app anymore. I ain't gonna lie. Right? How many of our followers actually still use the platform? If we were to draw up a fake number, I don't know. Give me a fake number, Pedro. Give me a fake number, percentage wise.
I'd say maybe 40%, and that's high.
I'd say 20% for me that actually still use the app. Because who's gonna go in there and download an app, create an account, and then maybe a year later go in there and say, you know what, I'm gonna close out my account. Nope, nobody really does that unless they're like got a bad ex-boyfriend or something. They can't delete all the socials, right? I've had few people do that, right? And you can't like, where'd they go? Oh, okay. So you've got a lot of people with dead accounts that aren't even active anymore, right? And so your number keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But like, are they really using the app still, or
no?
Right?
And you think about some of the people that had. Oh, Sarah, yeah.
Sarah on Twitch says you need to have a balance, because if you don't post, people may remove you because they don't see content, or the opposite. If you flood your feed and get sick of seeing only your content. Interesting.
Yeah, you can't give them everything, but when you do give it to them, make it intentional, make it worth their viewership, worth their time that they're taking out to view your content. And it has to, if it's funny, if it's entertainment, great. That's what that's what it is. If it's educational, inspirational, motivational, that's also good too. So yeah, definitely got to have a balance. But like I was saying, with the followers, there's people on here that have been on since 2008, 2009 that have 40, 50, 60,000 followers, 2 million followers, and like you were saying, only get a couple hundred views, a couple hundred reposts, if that.
It's like those pilots that you remember that the guy in the news, they got those Chinese pilots. One of them was something wrong. Something wrong, brother. Mm-hmm. Something is wrong with your analytics, or something's wrong with your numbers. I don't know why I said Chinese. I'm Chinese, so family, in case anybody says, hey, he's racist. No, I'm part Chinese. Okay, so something wrong. Yeah, something wrong, right? If you got that many followers, yeah. I will say though, there are people that are active on social media that have a lot of followers, but they also follow a lot of people as well. And I've done the math, and I actually used to do the math as well. I used to. This is my 4th account on Twitter, I think. But there are ways to boost your followers, right? You just pay for it. You pay, not pay for the followers per se. It's a game, right? So you pay. Yeah. I'll use this one company. I think it's called Tweet Blue or Twitter Blue. I forget what it's called. And you pay them $50 a month, and you log in with your credentials. And what they do is they follow accounts for you. And when those people follow you back, you win-win. However, when people unfollow you, the program unfollows them too. And so when you see people that have, incrementally, they have 20,000 followers, and then they follow 12,000, then they go up to 40,000, and they follow like 17,000. When you see a ratio that's similar, then you know that that's a service, because Twitter has these metrics where when they see it exceeds a certain percentage, then they flag you, right?
Flag you. Yep.
Yeah. But it's all generated, right? So I I do believe in that to a certain degree, depending on what you're doing it for. If it's a business and they want to boost the image of their product or company or services, I kind of see why they would do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And again, it gamifies the experience a little bit because again,
Yeah.
it's a numbers game. It's numbers driven. Greatly appreciate you for tuning in, though, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. You, I don't know. I don't know if you were here or on the platform when I MC Hammer followed me one day, and I'm like, MC Hammer followed me. Oh my god, MC Hammer too legit to quit. I'm too legit. And I was like, wow, I was so excited. And I followed him back. And I'm like, I'm gonna follow MC Hammer. And you know what I figured out, Pedro? I was like, man, he was using a service. And I didn't feel special anymore. He just followed me because it met the criteria of the people that he wanted as an audience.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of these services you can set parameters on people to follow based upon their interest within Twitter or X or whatever platform. And what I found out was at the time he was promoting not EFTs. Oh my gosh, I'm brain farting.
NFTs.
NFTs. I see EFT.
NFT.
I want some money, family. Send me some EFT.
EFT.
Electronic. Yeah. But yeah, he's promoting the NFTs and promoting his. So I understand why he would do that. I understand why they would follow. I think he followed like 20,000 people within a matter of 3 months. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he uses that service anymore because he doesn't have to. I don't know. Maybe he does. But I see that. I see that. I understand why people would do that. Right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But I think it's the people that are coaching, right? Doing coaching programs. Hey, take my master course. Let me show you how you can build a following. And then they don't tell you how they got there to begin with. Like, dude, come on.
Yep. So lots of snake oil salesmen out there.
I was born at night, but not last night.
Not last night, exactly.
I was legit born at night, by the way. Like, it was dark when I was born. So, but I'm not in the dark. Wow. Hey, let's talk about social audio. To our listeners and our viewers, what in the heck is social audio? In your eyes, in your opinion?
So social audio has been around for many, many years before it got popular. Back in, I remember AOL chat rooms, right?
Was that social audio?
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
It was you were chatting, right? You were talking to people.
You remember this sound? Uh-oh.
Yep.
What do you know what that is? That was ICQ. Remember ICQ?
Yep.
Over.
I remember when they used to the AOL CDs that they would send you in the mail, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it has progressed, and then fast forward, what is it? Blog Talk Radio, your radio stations, right? Were in a sense social audio and it was a broadcast, but they take calls from viewers, and different shows that had interviews and whatnot. So, but social audio is just that, and it got its I guess notoriety, or started to get more into the social media realm when one of the other platforms, Clubhouse, came about, and during the pandemic. So everybody was during lockdown, and couldn't go anywhere. Stuff was closed. People were starting to get a little anxious and weary of what was going on, what was going to happen. So you couldn't talk, you couldn't be around your friends and talk to family members. So social audio came about. And I say it came about because the inception of Clubhouse, I think it was what first started back in April of 2020. then fully launched a little bit later to still invite public beta, and then they opened up the gates and let people in. But social audio is the connection through voice, right? Kind of like what you do with the podcast, except it's in real time. You build a community, you have, people that are able to engage and interact in real time, and you're doing it socially on all these different apps. Then there's a bunch of different apps that now have a parameter of social audio: Clubhouse, X Spaces, um, Chatter.
Yeah,
Let's see,
that's
Speakeasy.
Nelson. Chatter
Yeah,
is Nelson, right?
yeah, Nelson Apega.
That's not big. You know the Did you ever hear the story of Clubhouse and Spaces? How they started? It's a very interesting story. Um,
How
so
both of them started?
yeah, they are actually colleagues. So for people that don't know, so right now if you're watching, we're live on, obviously our base audience is on Twitter, on X. Twitter had acquired a company called Periscope in 2015. Periscope was a live stream application standalone. So Twitter bought this company, and then they integrated their staff, engineers, the CEO, and the agreement was they didn't launch the product until Twitter acquired them. So when Twitter acquired the company, that's when they went live. They went live in March of 2015. And it exploded. It was crazy. I always likened Clubhouse as the Periscope of social audio. Amazing, right? Clubhouse was amazing. I didn't spend a lot of time on it because I started in video. The reason why I liken Clubhouse as the Periscope of social audio is because Clubhouse died. And so the founder of live streaming video, I coined him as the godfather of live stream video. His name is Kayvon Bigpour. He was actually the head of Twitter product after they acquired him in his company for $120 million, mind you. Yeah, that's an important number to remember. They paid $120 million for the live stream application, which is what we're on right now. Well, when they decided to close the doors of the Periscope standalone application, they kept the source code, which is what we're doing Twitter Spaces and X Spaces. So Spaces was now before they launched Spaces, Kayvon had a discussion with the creators of Clubhouse, and they were kind of around the same time cultivating this social audio experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a great podcast. I'll send you the link, but it's interesting because these two guys have a social, quote unquote, social audio platform. From a corporate perspective, is genius because it's a lot cheaper to run audio than video.
Correct.
And people will stay on their phones, washing dishes, changing a diaper without having to have a video on.
Right.
I don't personally like it. I'm a visual person, so I like to have the visual. I'm good with the audio if I'm busy or doing something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, Pedro, if you and I were in a room together, like I was at your house having dinner, it would be weird if I was in your living room and you was in the kitchen and we were talking to each other.
Right.
The entire night. It'd be really weird.
Very weird. Yes.
It'd be very weird. But for some reason, social audio makes it okay to do that. Like it's okay to not pay attention to your person visually because you can hear them.
Yeah.
But Clubhouse, talking about Clubhouse, the interesting thing is Clubhouse died, and I didn't understand until Kayvon talked about it on the podcast. He talked to this guy named Lenny. It's called Lenny's Podcast, Kayvon Bigpour. If anybody wants to look it up. Kayvon said the reason why the live stream video died, the application died, is because they didn't integrate the social aspect, the social behemoth of Twitter quick enough.
Mm-hmm.
And he believes that a social platform or a live video or even audio platform, it cannot thrive without the presence of a major social media company. And I do agree with him on that. But I do wish Chatter well. I hope they have some kind of social, maybe they build their own social connection. I did go through it. But I didn't go live like I said the other day. It didn't quite work out. Have you gone live yet on Chatter?
Like multi-stream live.
or any live? Have you gone any live on Chatter?
I have been on there, beta testing some of the new functions and functionality. It's
Yeah,
it's definitely I think it incorporates all the things. One, the founder CEO of Chatter, Nelson, was a avid user of Clubhouse, avid user of social
yeah,
audio. So coming from a creator and a user of it, I think that's given him raising the bar a little bit, because now everything that as a creator he wanted and wanted to have in some of these social audio apps, he's now implementing in his own app. So I think it's good. Still a little buggy. Definitely has some glitches and things that need to get fixed. But again, it's a brand new app, still in public beta, so invite only. So, but definitely you see more and more people coming on. There was definitely a big influx once they finally let the Android users, those that have Androids, come on. So, but yeah, no, social audio I think it's kind of like when radio was around and then the television came about. People said, "Oh, the radio is no longer gonna be important because now we're looking at it." And then after the TV came cable, right? You weren't looking at your regular TV; you were looking at digital cable, had access to all the channels. It's just gonna be now something new to supplement something else, but all the other things are still around.
do you do you think people that consume or create content on social audio are of a different breed than people like a typical Instagram user, for example? It's an honest question. Do you think
Yeah,
that they are a
yeah,
different breed? Okay.
yeah. Very different breed, because it's easy to record. It's easier to some to record a video. You can go back, delete, edit, delete, put everything together, and then you have this nice prepackaged video that goes out on Instagram or wherever you post your content. Curating a conversation through social audio, that's a skill. That's a skill set, to have an engaging conversation, to watch how the stage. And if you've never been in any of the social audio platforms, I would say test it out, try it out. But to curate a conversation in real time with engagement, answer questions, looking at the chat, yeah, they're definitely a different breed.
I'll agree with you on that, and I'm going to give pushback to what you said because I can. This is my show. I do whatever I like. Um, there are some weird cats out there on social audio. I ain't gonna lie. Um, and if it sounds like I'm picking on you, you're probably guilty. But look. For me, I cannot do. I'm very terrible at pre-recorded content. I'm actually the opposite of what you said. I cannot ask anybody that's known me. Like if I gotta do a 30-second video, I literally record, stop. I can't do it because I'm a one take guy. I cannot do. I don't like edit. I like to have a flowing conversation. So when I do a video, if you watch any of my video content, it's all one take, all one take. I don't. So it takes me a long time. So people can appreciate, hopefully, when I give if I give you a video content, appreciate the fact it's a one take. When I go live, it's easy. I love it. And part of it is, being a musician and being in church and, pastoring, all those things kind of made it easier for me to go live because I don't want to have to go back and edit nothing. What I say is what it is. And if I make a mistake, I'll apologize on another one.
Mm-hmm.
But with social audio, I have a lot of people that I see conversations that it's hard for me to navigate and to sift through. I can't sit there for 9 hours and listen to somebody talk. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it, Pedro. Like, dude, one time my wife and I was listening to somebody talk, right? And then we go to bed and we wake up, make breakfast, we do our devotions, and it's like, and then later on in the day, it's like 11 a.m. That same person is on. And I'm like, is that social audio or what is this? Like, I don't understand. And I'm not picking on anybody in particular, but it's like, I don't understand how people, I forgot who said it, but somebody says, I want my minute back. Give me my 3 minutes back. I'm like, no, give me my 9 hours back.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say I was not one of those persons, because I know when Clubhouse was when I first got on the Clubhouse, there was definitely times where 5-6 hours, good conversation though, because
Oh,
again
yeah.
everything was locked up, but there would be sometimes that it was later and I was hosting the room and I'd end up falling asleep, and then I'd wake up, and what's crazy is there was a whole bunch of people in the audience. I'd have a bunch of requests to come to stage, but I was the only person that was on stage that could let them up. So it was
Oh.
weird. Like, why would maybe everybody slept over, and it had a big nice social audio sleepover, but you would wake up and then you'd get your conversation going back again with what happened, what I missed while I was asleep, who left the room and just left it open. And but yeah, no, it's um some have some people have taken it way far. 9-10 hour rooms, like it's crazy. It's crazy. 24-hour. And I get it. If you're doing something like that, you run in the space for 24 hours, you have different creators that are coming on,
Mhm.
structured. Yes, do that, because again, it's something that you're putting together. But to start off early in the morning, and then by 8-9 o'clock you're still going, like, it's a waste of a day, to be honest.
Well, I mean, now there are some people that they can't get out of the house, right? So I want to stress, I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just, I can't do it. I will say though, there are people that legitimately these conversations maybe keep them in a good place. I don't know. Um, I just can't do it. There's too much things for me to do throughout the day that require me to not be on my phone. Um, I would probably do a 24-hour thing if I wasn't actually doing it. And like if I wasn't actually, I would organize something to where people can access conversation. But I don't, the other thing is, and family, I'm gonna keep saying this, I'm not picking on anybody because I think it's a great thing. I think it keeps people connected. But I guess the question is, when is it too much connection, right? Like when are we connected to our devices too much, right? And the other thing is, man, I just totally lost my train of thought. But in the era of conversation, it's like, and I said this before, and I'll say it again. Like if you're at my house and you say, "Hey, Greg, I'm gonna invite some people over," yeah, that's fine. Next thing you know, we have like 500 people in my house. And I'm like, Pedro, man, what the heck, dude? Who are these people? Oh, no, that's fine. We're all gonna talk. We're just gonna talk. I'm like, okay, but I don't know who they are. He says, no, it's fine. They're gonna request to come up to the front of your living room, and they're gonna stand up and they're gonna tell a story. Oh, okay. And he says, and when the next person wants to come up, he's just going to raise his hand. He's going to come up and tell a story. Okay. And I'm like, Pedro, but who are these people? He says, no, it's fine, dude. Don't worry. We're all in I'd be like, dude, I cannot.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that sometimes on my phone. Like, who are these people? And why are they talking about rainbows and ponies and like being one with the universe? And we're talking about technology. Like, and you get those, right? You get those where
Yeah,
they come in.
yeah,
I had this one guy, and Tala was in this one. Not, I think it was a guy. I don't know. And we were talking about something wholesome. And next thing you know, they're moaning, like literally moaning. I'm like, what the heck is going on with these people?
yeah, yeah. There's some weird individuals out there, and again, we're not singling anybody out, but you know who you are. You know who you are.
There's Tala saying, when you're not able to socialize in person, some, you need to stay out. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But so the future of social audio, who's your top players? I'll put Chatter in there, even though I don't know all the details of what their game plan is.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Spaces. Do we have any other companies that you think are gonna?
Yeah, so there's a couple. Um, but as far as like when you think social audio, um, Clubhouse still around.
Oh, it's still around. I didn't know that.
It's still around, but it's not like it used to be. It's like a voice. You leave your friends over there voice memos,
Okay.
uh, and the rooms on that app. Some of the rooms are good. Like I know there's a good podcasting community over there, empowered podcasting, and um, the podcasting morning chat, which I was a part of early on, still do their rooms over there. So there's still some good, but yeah, Clubhouse is still around. Spaces, Chatter is a new one. Um, Speakeasy is still around.
Speakeasy. What the heck
Yeah,
is
and
Speakeasy?
that was it was, I think Ty Lopez invested in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then there was a platform that was really good and had potential, was more focused towards music artists, independent music artists, or even some of the big players, the ones that have deals, called Riff, and they had a decent platform. I was able to go over there and check it out, and it was good. The rooms, same thing. They incorporated the video, and the unique thing about that app was that the way they had like a distribution, a DSP set up, so you would upload playlists. So if it was a playlist, you're an independent artist, of all your tracks that you have on Apple Music or Spotify, they would play in the rooms. So every time somebody would come in, say you had a room full of 20, well, that counted as 20 streams that you were getting towards your stuff. So, but it died off. It's no longer around. So, but yeah, I would say the top player right now, just because of the amount of people using it, Spaces, and then I would say Chatter, and then Clubhouse.
I think Twitter wins just because they have the network, right?
Yeah.
And that's why live video. I mean, a lot of people don't realize this Twitter X has had live stream video since 2015, and the reason why people don't know that they have it is because basically they stopped maintaining the features of it or the user interface where people didn't know how to do it. And of course now it's different. Now you gotta have there's a paywall, so basically you gotta be a premium to go live on Twitter. um but the reason why I think even today how it, with a little thread, it's able to hang on is because there's a social network. There's
Mhm.
if I get tired of listening to somebody talk, I can actually just go back on the app and watch somebody do something, or I can look at somebody's videos, or I can look at their ebook, or I can look at their articles. So Twitter has that whole ecosystem. Whenever people get tired of this product, they just go to the next one.
Mhm.
So I we'll see if Twitter is able to capitalize on that. But hey, I gotta say hi real quick, brother Chris in South Carolina. Yes, he is one of my guests. I forget what podcast episode it was, but good to see you, brother. He has he's a funny guy. You funny guy. You a long time. You 4 hour. But what was I talking about? I brain farted on myself. What was
No,
I oh,
yeah,
the network. Yeah,
the
the
network.
network.
Yeah, they have the network to do that, and if they capitalize not only on the network, but listening to the creators that are utilizing all the things in the network, I think it would be more uh, beneficial for them, because then the users that are using it will promote inside the app to use the features.
You have an Instagram account?
I do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. Hello, I followed you. I made $50 on Instagram, I think last year or 2 years ago. They had this promotion where you do three what do they call those things? Shorts,
Reels.
reels. Yeah, yeah. So you do 3 reels and then they pay you $50. And so, oh, that's cool. And no strings attached. They just did it. Um, they've got a lot of money, obviously, but in regards to money, we're gonna pick on Twitter since that's our large part of our base. Ad revenue share program. Are you qualified for the ad rev share program?
No.
Well, why is that?
Uh, the 5 million impressions that you have to get within 3 months. And again, you know, it was higher. What was it? 10,
I think it was
15,
15 at one time.
15, yeah, 15 million impressions in 3 months.
Yeah.
It could be done, but you have to sit there and grind and reply and comment and post and then it go through down through your list. Yeah, it's hard.
So the word in itself is advertiser revenue sharing. So you've got advertisers that drop money in this bucket, and then Twitter X says, okay, I'm going to give to you, and I'm going to give to you, I'm going to give to you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. My only reservation is how much are they paying you? What is the percentage per content creator? Right. So nobody talks about that. Are we gonna get deep today? We might. So what is the percentage? Right. Nobody is disclosing that. You know why? Because they don't know what the percentage is. Nobody's telling, oh yeah, I get paid, 1% of $300 million per month. Nobody knows.
All right.
What's the other thing we don't talk about? We don't talk about time invested. I'm all for it because obviously I promote products. I promote. I'm going to promote myself for a second. I promote Archon mounts. I promote Pedro's t-shirts. I'm not wearing his shirt today. I'm wearing my own shirt. Yes, I can buy it in the store. But I promote candies. I promote W energy drinks. They're one of my sponsors. I make money, not a lot, but I make money when people buy stuff. I wake up tomorrow morning and made a commission. Hallelujah. With ad revenue sharing, I want to know how much time people are putting in. So I'm going to call out anybody. If you're making ad rev share money and you're posting up your receipts online, I want to see the amount of time invested because it's an honest question. I want to know if it's worth it for the rest of us micro influencers and we can do it.
Exactly.
If not, I'll go work. I'll go do DoorDash instead. I think I make more money per hour.
Yeah.
I also find it super weird that people post how much they get paid off of. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. No, I would, hey, if I make, okay, this is what I'm gonna make this public. This is a historical document. You ready? Me and Pedro, okay, maybe not me. When I make $1,000 off of ad rev, I'll share it and I'll share with you how I did it. Exactly. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna cheat. I'm gonna tell you I spent 10 hours a day posting content, creating content, which includes reading content. I think we should do that. Like, what was the other thing we were going to talk about? Holy smokes, I brain farted again. We'll talk about long form content in a second. Tala, Tala, it's all your fault, man. She messed me up. What the heck, Tala? Dang it, Tala.
And when it comes to any type of revenue sharing, I think, and again, a big company such as X, right, has employees, has millions of users. Transparency is key,
Yeah.
especially when you're starting to talk and give, guidelines to people on how to enter the revenue, the ad revenue sharing program. How are these ad funds getting distributed? I'm
Oh,
in there. I need, right. I should be
yeah.
able and privy to not the advertising how much they're spending and paying you, but how is the overall percentage, right? The 80-20,
Yeah.
the 60-40,
Mhm.
whatever the split is, how is that given divvied up, right? I think that would help a lot.
I don't think they'll ever be transparent 100%. I call it the parental or the leadership principle. So, as if anybody that's a supervisor at a job, or you're a leader in the church, or you're a business leader, there are certain conversations you cannot have with people that have no business understanding what that is in the first place. Okay. So, like, for example, my kids, I'm not going to pull my kids in my room and say, hey, kids, come here. Let's do bills together. We're going to do bills, and we're going to do financial planning. And we're going to do, we're going to do cast vision. And we're going to talk about, what cars and this and that. They'd be like, that's so boring. Like, just tell me later. And I think when it comes to ad revenue, for example, I don't think they'll ever tell everybody like who gets what percentage. You would think it would be the right thing to do. But because it's not a publicly traded company, first of all, they don't have to do
Right.
whatever they want.
Right.
Do whatever you like. So that's the first thing. But I talked about this before, but I don't know if they have it now. I really don't know. But there was a time when Twitter would hire independent contractors and pay them a certain fee to do certain services. So that includes content creators. I know for a fact that there are content creators that would get paid a huge chunk of money just to produce content or promote products or services. There's a handful of us, and they're in my Instagram. I think Papa Bear is one of them. So we used to be a part of a group where they gave us cameras. They gave us these 360 cameras, and Twitter had an agreement with Insta360. And so there are a handful of us that, part of the agreement, we promote products, or we promote the videos. We make videos, and we had to make certain amount of videos within a month or a week. I forget what it was. But there are some things I don't think that they'll share, just because I'm gonna look at Pedro. I'm like, wait, they giving you how much percent? What, 5%? I only get 1%. What the heck?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they'll ever be that transparent. It'd be nice. But here's all I'll say. I encourage anybody listening or watching. You want to make some money? Go do it. Like, go make your own, right? And while the dream, do you know what the dream job is? You ever heard of the dream job? I don't know if I shared with you, when they ask these bunch of kids in a classroom,
Mm-mm.
their number one job, dream job, and I'm oversimplifying, but 95% of the kids in this classroom said, I want to be a YouTube influencer. That was the career choice. That's where we are, right? People are so, kids,
Mm-hmm.
actually, let's say kids are, they're at this place where, if I can just become a social media influencer, I'll be rich,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. And I think a lot has to do, one, with social media and what gets portrayed, right? A lot of people that, and not anybody in particular, just throwing it out there, but some of the people that make these extravagant, vlogs and these videos to entice people to do those things aren't really living those lives. And the whole Mr. Beast effect, right?
Yeah.
He's also a big one, where from where he started to where he has now, bukus and bukus of money. So he's making all these extravagant YouTube videos, and the kids see that and they're like, I want to be like Mr. Beast. I want to be able to do that and have that kind of money. And yeah, it's a lot of
You,
work, a lot of grind.
you ever heard of the 5% versus the 95% mentality? You ever heard that reference?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for people that don't know that reference, and I'm oversimplifying because there's different, some people say one percenters, but I'll make an argument. There's the one percenters, and then there's the 5%ers as well. But basically, there's the people that are 5%ers that are, for lack of a better word, they control the 95%, right? Whether through giving them jobs, the service industry. The 5%ers are your wealthy, right? They're your business owners, not just I'm not talking about self-employed. Self-employed is not a business owner. Self-employed is you work, you still have a job.
Mm.
Self-employed is not, you don't have your own company. The company has you, right, as a self-employed. Now, when you have a big business, that's different. Investor. So let's say 5%ers. But I think Mr. Beast is one of those guys where he at one time he may have been the employee or the self-employed, but he's got that 5% mentality, right? He had to push through that. He fought for that, and now there's some that they say one word and instantly they're viral, they're famous, like the Hawk Tour girl. Like, what the heck? She's like raking in the dollars. Like, what the heck?
Yeah. Think she moved from Nashville to California, hired some managers, been on a whole podcasting tour, all due to a couple minutes on the street getting interviewed.
That's crazy.
But
It makes
but
you wonder, is it?
what I was going to say is I think now everybody's, I think, reaching for that virality moment, looking for it. All right, what can I do to make myself go viral? Right, and her story is kind of crazy. She wasn't even looking to go viral. Just guy asking her questions on the side of the street.
Well, it's like the other girl too. The it's not real girl. We adopted. My wife adopted that saying. Whatever we are talking about, we were like, "That's not real."
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Yep. The one on the
She's from,
plane. Yep.
yes, he's from
Yep.
Texas. Yeah,
Yes, she is.
from Texas. Oh, and here we are, the micro influencers. We're
Trying to
but
build community, man. Trying to build community, trying to network and make sure everybody in our community also elevates and gets to a place of abundance in what they're doing.
so what is your community? If you was to give us a snapshot, what is Pedro's community? What does it look like?
Wow. So my community, podcasters, live streamers, graphic designers, um, gamers, hip hop enthusiasts, DJs, underground music artists, all of that, because it's all synergies that we all utilize. Your podcasters and live streamers, also gamers, us DJs, play music for the community and get together, get things going. The underground music is, I'm always looking for new music. I'm always looking for new talent that's out there, because in the music industry it has not all the mainstream, again, influencers, your Drakes and everybody. That was much needed though between Drake and Kendrick. But yeah, the new artists
I don't
that
even know what it is. I have no idea. I don't know who Kendrick is. I have no
yeah,
idea. I know
Kendrick
who Drake.
Lamar.
Like, what is he? A rapper? Who is he?
Yeah. He's a rapper from California.
So what is rap in 2024? Because I swear, when I turn on the radio and they say it's rap, that's not the rap I grew up with. The rap I grew up with was like, it's different.
It is. It is. And I think, again, because of social media, the micro doses of content that you're consuming, short video, short form, I think the industry had to change what they were producing. I remember music back in the day, right? If you just think about, even, NWA, Ice Cube, some of their
That's
tracks
rap.
were, yeah, that's rap, right? That's hip
That's
hop.
rap.
LL Cool J, right? Run DMC, that's hip hop, that's rap. But
Beastie Boys.
yeah, exactly. But their songs on an album would end up being 5.5 minutes long, 6 minutes long. You had intros and interludes and a break. Now everything is 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes or less.
Do you play any instruments?
I play a little bit of the keyboard. I used to play
Okay.
trumpet back in the day.
So if you remember, we're the same age ish, I think, right? I was born in 75. You 70s or 80s?
80s.
Okay, so in our era, when you heard a beat, it'd be like, and you hear the hi hat,
Mhm.
or you hear
Yeah.
right? You hear that
Yeah.
hi hat. There's a time somehow through the generations, the hi hat disappeared, and you would just hear a bass drum and a snare, like a bass drum and a snare. And then there was a time when you would not even have a snare; you just have. It was very interesting the progression of music, and then the rap today. It's like I'm a musician by heart, so I play everything. I play drums, guitar, beat, all that. But I don't understand. I guess people get tired of listening to what we grew up with, so they gotta come up with something new
Mhm.
and rebrand it. But when I hear certain types of music, this is what I hear. And I mean, no disrespect to anybody. This is your genre, but this is what I hear. I leave. And then it's like a mumble, but it goes, and then they do that for like 3 minutes straight,
Mhm.
and then they'll take a break and then just play the beat, right? I'm like, I don't know. That's different for me. I guess you'd have to be preoccupied doing something else to enjoy. I mean, I'm not knocking it. It doesn't like I got these gears in my brain, and those gears don't quite fit with mine, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
I hear, yeah,
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. The mumble rap, you
mumble
know,
rap. That's what you call
yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah, it's mumble rap, and there's some artists that are out there that do the mumble rap, but it's enjoyable, it's enticing to listen to. One, the beat is good. You have different, there's depth to some of the tracks, and I think that's where some musicians these days don't have that. They don't have the depth,
yeah.
to where you can when you're listening to a track, like you said, you can hear the drum pattern, you can hear that lead, you can hear those boxes that are in there, you hear the bass line or the 808, and it's depth a lot of times, and a lot of
Oh,
tracks these days are
what is 808?
it's a lower frequency than a bass line. So
Because
yeah, when
I
you
see that. Yeah.
if you listen to hip hop, so it usually aligns and coincides with the kick,
Okay.
but it's the one that gets drawn out a little more rumbling. You'll hear it. It'll be like boom, 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 boom,
So
boom, and it kind of
that's
some of it. Yeah,
that.
the bass line or the 808 ends up being the bass line if you take out the bass.
So is that the posse on my posse's on Broadway baseline? My posse's on Broadway. Is
Yep,
it that
yep,
baseline?
yep. The
Okay.
bass line.
Okay. I understand now. I learned something today. Because I swear these people are like, wow, they must love Hawaii because everybody's referencing Hawaii because that's our area code. Like that's a state area code, 808. Wow, they,
808.
yeah. So now I know. It's my posse's on Broadway baseline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It's the lower frequencies. And if people that don't know music or understand music, you have low frequencies, mid frequencies, and high frequencies. So your low frequencies end up being your basses,
Yeah.
and then your high frequencies end up being, some of the instruments that end up being up there. Your leads and stuff being the high frequencies. Your vocals sit somewhere in between the mid and the highs, and then you just put it all together, and then out comes a great song most of the times.
Speaking of mumble rap, I forget who it was. So there are these rappers or artists. I'll just say artists because they may not necessarily rap, but they talk like they talk with it's like a throaty morning voice, right? So they kind of like that's how they talk, right? And so this one guy was like, "Come on, man, tell everybody, show the audience what you really sound like." And so the guy started talking regular like this, and then the guy was laughing. because nobody knows that this artist, I can't remember his name, but that's not how he really talks in real life. Now, as a stage, his stage presence, that's how he talks. There's another guy with I can't remember his name. He has dreadlocks, ton of silver gold teeth. Famous rapper. I think he's known because supposedly he says that he doesn't write his lyrics down; he just flows.
Little Wayne.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's how he talks out off camera. If that's his real voice off camera.
I think it is. I
Yeah,
think it is. Yeah. And again, some of them have the stage presence and in front of camera presence, and then
yeah.
they sound totally different when they're behind closed doors.
I think that's great if you can do it because there's this one guy on this is totally radical departure from music, but he's a content creator on YouTube. He's a country dude. His name is Stale Cracker. You ever heard of Stale Cracker?
Yeah. Yeah.
He cracks me up. But I have a suspicion that he doesn't talk anything like that off camera.
Right.
And I think he's bald. That's what I think. I don't think he has a mullet in real life.
It's a trucker hat with the
Yeah,
mullet
yeah,
sewn in.
yeah, yeah. What up? He goes, "What up, dude?" Like
Yeah.
still cracking. What is it? While we wait, we hydrate. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, what
Yeah.
a
The Holy
great,
Trinity. Get some of
yeah,
these
the Holy Trinity.
Yardbirds. Yeah.
And then when you meet him at a birthday party, he goes, "Hello, pardon me, may I
Mm-hmm.
help you?" Like, but yeah, going back to the rap, uh, I think with the whole music industry, I don't know. This is what I like. With my household, I wasn't really allowed to listen to a lot of stuff, but the Beastie Boys were one of my all-time favorites. I don't know half the lyrics. I love their sound when I was growing up. You know, of course, that one song that everybody thought we were all going to burn in hell. You got to fight for your right. You know, yeah,
You gotta fight for your
yeah.
right to party. Yep.
Hey, speaking of DJs and music, I noticed you have your name is the Dro the THA. Yeah. Um, did I shared with you the Flash, right? Did I share with you
Yes.
the
Yes. Yeah.
that guy is like, bruh, like he was doing that stuff back in 2016. Doing so for anybody that doesn't know the Flash, I actually wore his shirt one day, but he's a DJ just like Pedro here, but he has these haptic things that he like the camera recognizes. So if he does like a movement, it throws up fireworks or whatever he programs into it. Um, when he's doing his music, there's like animations that pop up. Such a
Mhm.
cool experience. And he also has a virtual nightclub as well. And I thought that was like genius. I don't know if he still does it, but he would have these virtual nightclubs where he's a DJ and he's up on stage, and all these people can have access to his virtual nightclub while he's DJing, and you can see him in the background, and they're like this tiny little, and then as they get closer to him, they actually get bigger, and they're having conversations with him, and they're like, I just thought, wow, this guy he's so way ahead of his time.
Mhm.
And I know he's a programmer. He does, he's super smart. He's an amazing artist. He was actually a spokesperson for one of our companies, Egg Drop, for those that are following on my other channels. But yeah, and his name is The Flash, for those that are wondering. So we got Dro, the sound god, and we got The Flash. Yeah.
Yeah, and that name, believe it or not, came from social audio. Uh, you know, when I first got on, I was going by my real name, and Pedro, and then I helped a couple of people set up their roadcasters and whatnot, some of their interfaces and how to get their sound correct on social audio, what plugs to get, what cables and whatnot. So somebody ended up saying, "Man, you're the sound god." I was like,
Oh,
"Okay,
that's how it started.
yeah, yeah, that sounds good. Then I think I might roll with that." So then I was like, Pedro the sound. I know that doesn't sound right. No, I was like, just the sound god. But then, how do you know it's me? Make it unique. So then I took the PE off of my name and just said Dro the sound god, and I was like, that all runs together. It's good. So it's
I don't
funny.
even know how I got mine. I think so. I remember I shared with you earlier. There was the the guy that got me started on live streaming, Airbro. He had BRO, and I can't even remember. Honestly, I can't remember. I just remember. I think I saw Jennifer Lopez, and I was like, "Oh, that's genius, J Lopez." But I said, "Oh, I can do that, G.LO." And it just, I don't know. I think that's how it started. I just remember I was thinking about it, but then around that time, my friend Larry Airbro, he had the BRO, and it's such a great. I don't know. It's the marketing. I thought it was genius. I don't know if he ever had his own website, Airbro8 or Airbro.com. I was thinking, hey, we should. So that's where even my website, therealglo.com, came about. Is it all started around that time, just trying to come up with where people can find me, and kind of find out I was probably the worst username ever, because people are like, my username is the real Greg Lopez. It's the worst username ever, but it's like, you know what? I've got it. I'm just gonna run with it, because people, if I would jump in your live, for example, you go, "Hey, it's Daryl. Hey, Daryl, it's good to have you." Like, dude, it's not Daryl. What the heck? Like, and then they go, "Hey, it's the Real Globe. Hey, it's good. Hey, good to see you." I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but had I known any better, I would have picked up something shorter. But gotta run with it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, can we talk? How you doing on time? By the way, I don't want to
No,
tax
no,
your
I'm
time.
good. No, I'm good.
And if we gotta go bathroom, I have a commercial. We can pay it for if you want to take a water break, pee break. I have a commercial if you want. You good on that too?
Yeah. I'm good. Are
Okay.
you? You want? I mean, if we need to run commercials, we got to pay bills. We got to pay
I,
bills.
I'm good for now. I don't feel the urge to go tinkle or anything.
Okay.
Hey, let's talk about where is it? I mean, I have some notes. People don't think I have notes, but I actually have notes, bro. What exactly is X Factor FM radio? I don't know if we talked about that. What is that? X Factor FM radio.
That is the online radio station.
Okay, we kind of talked about that
Mhm.
earlier. And then your future in podcasting. Do you have? Here, I'll share mine before we can. So one of the things will segue to long form. I've come to terms that I can't go viral producing a video. Maybe I will one day. I've had videos on TikTok that got like 300,000 views, maybe, but it wasn't my content. I just took a video that was already funny and I put it up there, and boom, it went crazy. It's not even my video, right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna share life. I want to have conversations, like real, unscripted, unrehearsed. There's no time, time restraints or time constraints. And I want people to get to know the people that I'm interested in, whether it's a psychologist, whatever, UN ambassador. I had a UN ambassador, dude. That was crazy. I love that. But just have conversations. And so that's where I'm at in the era of and I'm enjoying it. And I have companies that are saying, you know what, okay, you can make some money depending on the amount of time you put in, and you know. So everyone wants to know the secret. Promo codes are more of a tracking. So for people that don't know, promo codes are a way for a company to track, revenue from me. So I'll be honest, if you guys buy stuff using my promo code, yeah, you get a discount, but I get paid too. So, but that's where I'm at, right? Having those conversations. And I feel this chapter of life, that's where God has me, and being able to connect with people. And it's not just obviously church or religious things, although that is the foundation of what I do, is to be a blessing, right? But so in your area of podcasting, do you have any ideas that you want to share with us? Do you have anything in the pipeline that you want to share in regards to the podcasting?
Oh yeah, of course. And I think I'm at that time in my life that um no more scripting,
Yeah.
right? Real raw organic conversations. And I think that's where, when social audio was introduced and got a taste of that, you have some of that. So turning those into podcasts. But For me, I'm actually working on a script, something different than what I'm used to, for an audio drama. So, like fully produced. I'm actually writing out the script of each character. Gonna get some talent to do the voiceover for these characters, put it all together, have all the sound design and foley, and yeah. So the first season is gonna be 10 episodes, and then we'll see how it goes. Looking at the metrics, the analytics, and then hopefully have a second season, and hopefully with bit. And I say hopefully, when I speak it, it's going to happen because God has a plan for me to be able to do those things. So we were talking about this earlier. It's going to make $1 million because somebody's going to pick it up. Netflix, Amazon, they're going to like it so much that they're just going to say, "Hey, can we have that script?" And here you go. But yeah, working on an audio drama with a couple of social audio content creators. Picking from the network.
You know, I get these ads in my phone. And I think it's on YouTube, or I don't know what it is. It's kind of like Choose Your Own Adventure. You ever seen those ads?
Mm-hmm.
It's got like a cartoon, and then they have these scary stories, and you got to click more to hear the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's a market for that. But to me, it's like, I'm thinking, I guess there's a lot of people. I mean, I listen to audio every day. If I'm on the road, I'll listen to a podcast or I'll watch it, because now Spotify is video. So for
Mm-hmm.
people that don't know, Spotify is video and audio. So when I upload to Spotify, it automatically sends the audio feed to all the other channels, because Apple Podcast doesn't do video yet. I think it's a mistake for anybody to not do video.
I agree.
Give your audience an option to have video, or But I have this dream, bro, to do a cartoon. It's gonna be so funny because my wife would be one of the characters. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's easy. All we gotta do is put some cartoons to one of our funny videos, and done. Game over, bro. You know what I mean? Done.
See,
Yeah.
and I think with that, even you saying, like cartoon, like somebody somewhere needs to see that like that's unique. It's something different that is coming from the amazing g.LO.
You remember that cartoon that Kobe Bryant came out with? It was a powerful video. He actually got an award for it. I think he got the award posthumously, like after he died. But it was like I don't know what you call it. It's a cartoon based on his life story, and he was narrating, but then the artist drew these cartoon. Or I know he actually did it with his team. Amazing video. But it was just him. It was his voice. Yeah. So your what platform is yours going to be on? Do you have an idea what platform you're going to put it on?
So since it's going to be audio only, I'll upload it to all the platforms, just like a regular podcast. And then if we decide to do, 1 or 2 episodes, like actually short film them, so they would end up being short films. And then we'll have to figure out, I think, best place for some of the short films, YouTube, and then actually talking to some of the bigger networks that would allow independent movies or short films to be on their platforms. Roku and Amazon Prime and those companies
You,
that
you
allow
can
it.
do it on Spotify for sure.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
Spotify has they have ad revenue as well. So I don't have it yet because I don't qualify for it, but they do pay out ad revenue once you get, and actually even tipping within Spotify. I know a lot of people bash YouTube a lot, but there's still, YouTube is still the king when it comes to video production, and even live video. It works. YouTube always works, and YouTube does not delete my replays. So just throwing it
Right.
out there, Twitter,
Right.
just throwing it out there. You don't delete my replays. What the heck?
What the
Um, what the heck? But Spotify, you can upload MP4, MPEG 4s. So if you have like and what else is Spotify? See, I'm learning all this stuff after the fact. I thought Spotify was only audio, but the crazy thing about Spotify is that as someone like if I subscribe to your channel on Spotify,
Mhm.
every time you drop something, it automatically downloads it to my phone. I have no choice but to get it because they send it to me. Now you can turn those off.
Right.
I don't know if any other social platform or audio or anything that does that. Actually, Apple Podcast does that too. But
Yeah,
like
Apple
just the
Podcasts update.
podcast, yeah, it
Mhm.
sends it to you, and I didn't know that. I'm like, oh, that's genius. Like, because we have the issue now, right, with content creators. Like, nobody notices my content. Like, perfect example, bro. Today, what the heck, Doctor Heath? Doctor Heath was like, if there was a way to uh know when somebody goes live, I'm like, bro, I've been sharing that for the past 2 years with you guys. What the heck? But yeah, nobody knows when your content comes out because there's no push notifications, right?
Mhm.
In general. Now, for those that don't know, on Twitter, on X, you do have a live video notification. It's been up there for the past 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. So put it out there, brothers. So, can you share with us a title of your audio stories, your the
Yeah,
production that
so
you do?
the production is gonna it's called Ascension. So and just to kind of give a little glimpse, it has a couple main characters. It's a twist between um Miami Vice, and if you've seen the movie Miami Vice, and the Stars show Power. So it's kind of a mix between that, some ups and downs, some twists and turns. There's some good times, some bad times, and everything in between. So
At first, I thought it sounded either scary or demonic. Ascension, like we're gonna,
Ascension, yeah,
and so
like
you're gonna
that.
have how many seasons you're gonna have? Two.
So I'm starting off with the one.
Okay.
Once we get a couple of episodes produced and see how it's going, see how the voiceover artists are doing, and want to stick with it. Um, yeah, we may do you know 2 seasons, and then what I'm putting out into the world is by the start of the new season, we should be making some revenue from the first season to pay the voiceover artists to get some more high quality audio production and sound design to elevate the brand of the audio drama.
So who's the writers? You?
Me.
Singular or plural? You have writers.
No, just me. Just
Just
me.
you.
Yeah, and I'm taking input from some of the they actually helped me, some of the voiceover artists that agreed to play certain characters, um help me build out the profiles and start kind of getting some things together. So we're supposed to be having a table read here of the first 2 or 3 episodes soon, next couple of weeks.
So what character are you playing? Are you playing the hero or the villain?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of both.
You sound like a villain. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you could be a villain. You know what's
Yeah.
funny? Yeah, I don't give away too many details, but pique our interest. Hey, here's the last question on that. Can you share who's some of your voiceover artists?
Oh yeah. So there's a creator. Her name is Blizzy Diamond. Um, there's a good buddy, met through social audio. His name is Harain Houghton. So he's uh, he's Jamaican, so it brings a good feel. to have it, somebody that can speak, Jamaican and in that tongue when they're doing voiceover. So I think that'll be good. Got a couple of other people that I don't want to say their names, but they're close to the social audio networks we run in.
Can I guess?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Blink your eyes if it's yes or no. So I don't know if it. No, no, no. Move your head. I won't say it. I have an idea. There is an amazing voiceover actor. He's a legitimate voiceover actor. I actually was supposed to meet him in San Francisco years ago when we did our product launch in the Bay Area. Um, I say product launch, but we already launched. But we were promoting our product in San Francisco, LA. But I was supposed to have met him. He's got an amazing voice. And he actually, that's his job. That's his day job. He does commercials and voiceovers, and his voice, bro, like the clarity, the enunciation, the depth. Um, he projects really well. He's very flexible in characters. I'll tag you, and you'll hear it like, wow, yeah, this guy's good. Um, his name is Chris Rossetti, and he's a legitimate voiceover actor. He does that's how he makes money.
Hmm.
But I actually did a couple of lives with him. Matter of fact, I'll tag you in that one. He's a funny guy, really funny guy. But he's got he's got a powerful voice, really powerful voice. But I mean, I don't think that's a prerequisite or gotta have when it comes to audio, social audio, even doing audiobooks. But
Mhm.
it definitely helps for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah.
It gives you the opportunity for range on you could play two different characters if you have the range to go up an octave, down an octave, different inflections in the voice, projections of the voice. So yeah, definitely helps.
Speaking of projection, we got somebody in Canada. I don't know why I said projection, but Sue, I just want to say thank you for hanging out. She's been hanging out all this time. Bro, that's a retention record right there. She is on our Twitter feed. And of course,
Nice.
brother James, and then Atala was in here for a minute. But in terms of, so what made you want to do, like, are you a writer? Like, is that your background, or you just decided, hey, I want to start writing stuff?
I've had this idea and started on this probably the middle of last year. And it just got put off, put on the back burner. I'm not a writer, but I wanted to try my hand at writing a full, production of, a 10 episode production of a social of an audio drama. I was fixing to say social audio drama, but that's a totally different topic there.
That's a 9 hour topic right there.
That's a 9 hour topic exactly. But
No,
no,
Tala, yeah, Tala's complaining. It's more. I know it's more than a minute, Tala. Um, dude, that's awesome. Like, and here's the funny thing: is I'm not a writer either, although I write a lot. But I don't. It's funny because I'll jump in on conversations. I'm not your textbook. Put it this way: like people that are either in front of camera, on stage. A lot of them are not necessarily good writers, but a lot of them are either they're very charismatic or great storytellers.
mhm.
Um, I don't think I'm charismatic in the sense of like, oh, that guy just he killed it on stage. I'm more someone that tells a story, and I hopefully get you to cry for a couple of minutes, and I make you laugh right after. It's one of the things I learned about, if you're going to be preaching to a group of people, for example, if you're just going to sit there and say scripture for 2 hours, they're going to go to sleep or they're going to go on Facebook while they're sitting there in a church. So, the ability to make people laugh or tell a joke to get them because attention spans are very short, right? So,
Yeah.
but man, I give you credit for writing out. It's not easy. Um, you got my interest. So, what's the timeline? Do you have a timeline?
So I was hoping to have everything, um, you know, taking this month to get our table reads, get some episodes recorded, and start launch maybe mid September. So I think that's where I'm sitting at. So we got a little work to do to get at least the first 3 or 4 episodes in, and recorded, fully produced, fully sound effects, transitions, all the good stuff. Get everybody together, all the voiceover artists. So yeah, I'm hoping that happens. And then as the first 3 or 4 episodes are released, we're working on 5, 6, and 7, finishing out the season before the season is over. And they'll each episode will be released weekly, so it'll be a cliffhangers in there and good stuff to keep people wanting to come back to listen to the next episode.
Cliffhangers are cheap shots, by the way, just so you know. You ever watched Lord of the Rings?
I've seen them, yeah.
Do you remember the first Lord of the Rings? Do you remember the ending?
Mhm.
That was the worst cliffhanger of all time.
Yeah.
I'm the worst, literally the worst cliffhanger of all time. You have this epic movie for 3 hours, and you're in a beautiful epic scene, and that literally ends. I'm so glad I'm here with you, Sam. And you're like, what?
What?
What? Did I just spend $75 to watch this movie in the theater with popcorn and a drink? What? The other worst cliffhanger of all time is Heroes. You ever heard of that TV show Heroes?
Mm-hmm.
I actually met that girl, Hayden Panettiere.
Hayden Panettiere, yeah.
I met her and her husband in Hawaii. They actually stayed at my job. So, um, and so her, she was pregnant, and so she couldn't fly. I don't know what happened. Why? What? Anyway, I don't know what happened. Something she couldn't fly. So I met her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Or a boyfriend. I'm not sure which one. And I didn't know who he was. I really, so where I used to work, it wasn't a regular job. I was blessed to have the job, by the way. But I worked for the owner of Paul Mitchell, and so that was his house, and I did woodworking, refinishing. I say that was my office, but I didn't have an office job. I always say office just to make trouble to people. They're like, "What kind of office is that? You're on a beach." I didn't tell them all the details, but so I met her and her husband. I didn't know who he was, and then I remember he was taking trash. The dumpster was, or not the dumpster, but the trash where we put all the trash was by our what do you call it? Our workshop.
Mm-hmm.
So I see this huge guy walking down his. So I looked at, oh, here, I'll take it for you. And he's in his accent. He goes, "Thank you very much." And I'm not Russian tall, so don't pick on me for that. But he sounded Russian. I'm like, oh, this guy sounds Russian. He's like thick, like just like he could like throw me through a wall. And then I introduced myself, and he's, oh, my name is Vladimir. Oh, hi, Vladimir. Nice to meet you. And we're talking for a minute, not that long. And so I asked, oh, so what do you do for a living? And he's, oh, I'm a doctor. I said, oh, wow, this doctor is not. I didn't know till later that he was the boxer Vladimir Klitschko.
Oh.
That he was the world heavyweight champion. I didn't even know. I don't watch boxing. The only boxing I watch is when Mike Tyson would knock somebody out. So I met Vladimir Klitschko, and I didn't know he had. Yeah, I don't think he meant he was a doctor. I think he was probably making trouble to me too. But so he has a PhD. I think him and his brother. I think there's twins, or there's two brothers. But yeah, I met Vladimir and that girl Hayden Panat. How do you say it?
Panettiere. Yeah.
Well, I don't know who went so sideways with it, but Heroes. That was a great TV show. Amazing TV show. And the ending was like, what the heck? and they either ran out of money or somebody wouldn't fight, and they're like, we're not going to finish this show anymore. That was the craziest cliffhanger of all time. Yeah. Cliffhanger. Oh, sorry, really good. So on Instagram, J. Russ says the other worst cliffhanger of all time is the movie Cliffhanger. Ha ha ha! Funny joke, brother. Funny joke. Yeah. I guess he's right. That is the all-time cliffhanger movie of all time.
Yeah.
That was a terrible movie, by the way. Very bad submission there, J. Russ.
Cliffhanger was not a good movie. No.
Do you know that he? There's a word for that. He has a slur, right? I forget the condition. I'm sure Tala will come and fact check on it. But there's that little thing he has. It's a legit like.
Yeah.
But that's his voice. Like that's his legit voice.
Adrian. Yeah.
When we're talking about social audio and social media, there is. I've come to terms that I have a short tongue. I as I get older, I there's a couple of changes in my dental work, so I don't sound the same. But then when I look back on my videos from like 10, 15 years ago, I have a higher pitch voice. That the timbre of my voice is getting lower and deeper. There's a little bit more change in my. Part of it is abusing, obviously, not taking care of my body, whatever. But I'm learning that there are funny people with unique voice. You ever heard of Jesse Lee Peterson?
Mm-hmm.
That guy, politics aside, I don't care about the politics. I mean, that's why I watch him, but it's still funny. He has a terrible public speaking voice. Probably the worst of all time.
Yes.
But he's got an amazing audience. Oh my gosh, people love him. Yeah. Mike Tyson. He got his own. He has a very successful podcast. Of course, he's got co-hosts too. But man, guys with not necessarily the best public speaking voices, but they've got an audience. So here's a question I got for you. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people like listening to people that don't have great voices?
It brings back the lost perception of somebody being human, normal. And I think that they like people with those small imperfections, because then it gives them a little bit of, exactly what Tyler said, insight to humanity, that, hey, they have a small thing that, is wrong with them and they're flourishing. Why couldn't I do that? Yeah.
Can we pick on that word? Because that it's not Tala's fault. I just use her because she can take it. What in the heck is humanity, Pedro? What is humanity? Like when I was growing up in the 80s, we didn't say, oh, just the humanity is coming out. Thank you for being human. And thank you for just, the humanity is just amazing. Like I didn't have that growing up. But for some reason, that's something that's been used a lot. Like what is humanity in 2024?
Yeah, no. Restoring humanity, humanity in 2024. Some people think humanity has been lost, and I think it's the art of being human and interacting as such. I think humanity is the overall populace in the globe, and more so in the United States, and we have to get back. Yep, exactly. I was just about to say authentic connections, being able to talk to one another in a more, and weird to say this, but in a more humane tone, right? And not, me, I'm not worried about you, but actually having some back and forth connection and conversation.
And Tala's adding the recognition that we all bleed. It's kind of like Ben Stiller when he says, "Don't make me bleed my own blood." No, nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Nobody.
Nobody.
Okay, so I'll be the bad guy here in this conversation. So if I am not warm, authentic, or compassionate, I'm not a human.
No.
That's rough.
No, that's not necessarily saying you're not human. You're unique. You're a unique human. And that's the silver lining in that. That you, if you're not those things, it's okay. Not everybody has to be the same. You're uniquely you.
Mm.
And I'm uniquely me. So if you're not warm, right? If you're not, compassionate, okay, you can be an a-hole. That's I mean, it is what it is. That's just what you are. But you don't, and I think this is where you're not putting a facade up of who you are. You're showing people the real you, whether that's, being an a-hole or not, being compassionate or not, but we get to see the real you, and that sparks and breeds conversation.
Very well said. Some people are cold and disconnected. I guess when I hear the word humanity, I ain't gonna lie, because I'm a product of the 70s and 80s. When I hear the word humanity, I think of like the Miss USA pageant. That's my reference. And of course, I'm showing my age here, but like if, for people that remember the Miss South Carolina, the famous Miss South Carolina. She says like such as that girl, but let's put a one word comment. Tala says they don't desire a sense of community. Wow, Tala's putting out some facts. Some people are cold and disconnected. They don't desire a sense of community. I guess the word humanity to me is like when I hear that, like for example, I'm so excited for humanity, or you humanity came out. I ain't gonna lie. Part of me is like, well, if my humanity didn't come out, what else would it be? Would it be a werewolf? What are you calling me if I'm not a good like? But I think that word came out a lot during probably the last 15, maybe 15 years. I don't know, because we didn't use it growing up, right? I did it. Maybe they did. I was just a bad kid. I didn't care. Like Thomas, I didn't care about humanity. Yeah. One more topic. I think we're gonna get close to landing the plane. In the area of video, this is a question I wanted to ask you. And there's actually some other questions, but in the area of video, and we're talking about, we're not going to talk about Instagram or any other platforms right now because they all have it. But in the area of Twitter on X, Linda Yaccarino was quoted last year as saying, and I reposted it. She says that X is video first. They are a video first platform. And I'm going to misquote it, but I'll just try to say it. She says, we will put all of our resources into making X everything platform. But she said, make no mistake that we are heavily focused on video. So with that being said, what do you think, like for you, are you going to carve out a space in that? I know you already are from what I see, but what do you see the future of video on Twitter, on X?
No, I think it definitely is the new I wouldn't say new medium, but if they are going all in on X, if they all going to invest in elevating the already millions of people that are producing content, not just reposting from other platforms, but the actual content creators creating on there, I think it's going to be beneficial to create video content on there, as long as they give us all the tools and capabilities to do so, to stay on the platform, entice us to stay on the platform. Yep. You get a dedicated, live video feed. You get a dedicated, in a sense, kind of for you, but strictly for videos. You know, give us an opportunity to kind of, I know they have a robust algorithm, or maybe not a robust algorithm, but an algorithm, something
Yeah.
that, you know, videos that I watch or interact with now get categorized on, you know, priority or, you know, importance. And that way you continue to get fed like creators of that same type of video that, you know, you liked or interacted with. So I think it's definitely good. I hope that they continue to elevate the video. I know, you know, when the video function came to Spaces, it was glitchy, and, you know, bringing social audio and now social video in those spaces and having the conversations. Um, you know, again, it's a lot of resources, lots of server space to be able to push stuff like that out. But um, video content's where that it's where it's at.
I think they're going after YouTube.
Yeah.
The problem I see is when they're paying out ad revenue to content creators that are getting the impressions and views and all that. But when I see content creators sharing other people's content and videos and making money off of that, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So if I'm a content creator and people are sharing on my videos, I'm not getting paid on it because I'll just pick he doesn't do it because he doesn't know I exist. But let's say Alex Finn takes my video and he posts on his profile. He gets like 1 million views. And I'm like, I only got 3,000. And he gets the ad rev share because people are flocking to him and he's getting that. That's a problem, right? And so one of the developers on, and her name is Melissa Murancillo. I'm going to put her on blast because she went public with it. She asked for tips on, she's one of the lead engineers for Twitter. She asked for advice, and Nate McGrady as well. How can we best serve you guys? So I said, allow us to tag our own videos. And the only way to make that possible is that they give a portal, same thing as YouTube. You upload through YouTube, it's automatically embedded with a signature. That's how they're able to track certain things like music rights. And so like even my music on here, I pay to have copyright free music. So I don't get, dinged or sued, whatever. But like on my videos, and I'll share this, it's a little trick. I don't even know if it works, but I tag all of my videos through layers. So if you were able to reverse engineer my videos by the third or fourth layer in, it's got my logo on it. So if I ever had to sue somebody for using my video and they make it, I could. If I don't know if anybody's going to use my videos, but let's just theoretically see. So I don't know if video is going to work for Twitter. I think they have to protect the content creators' content, right? Because right now, I mean, we all see them. They're posting everybody's videos and they're getting views. I'm like, brother, you never make the video, and I get it because I've done that too. But at least link to the original video or say, hey, this is where the video came from. But nobody's doing that. Like,
No.
So that is an issue, I think, with when it comes to content creators. Like, I don't want to post video on here if it's just going to get taken and somebody else make money off of it.
Yep. No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I think that's why I turned down well, for some videos, the ability to download.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to download it. You view it, you interact with it if you like it. If not, you don't need to download it. And if you want to download it that bad and you need it, send me a DM and we can negotiate. We can talk.
Or they can just screen capture video. This is what they do, right?
Yeah. There's some content thieves out there.
Now on iPhones, you can't record the audio native. If I'm not mistaken, I record video on my iPhone screen capture, but now on my Samsung, I can record audio and everything. So, but if I ever do that and repurpose, I always try to tag the original, or if get permission first. Like it's kind of a what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. It kind of a no for me. Like if I'm going to use somebody's content, and I'll give a good example. So 2018, I went live, okay, and I shared a lava eruption. And so I contacted Civil Beat Hawaii. So they are a news organization. I said, hey, can I tag into your and I actually knew somebody. That's how I was able. He told me to contact. I said, can I have access to your video feeds? And I'm not going to make any money. I just want to share it with my audience. And they said, yeah. So they gave me the credentials I needed to log in, and so I would share their. So I had access to the camera feeds, and I showed the lava flow, the lava eruption, of because they had cameras on site, and so that was one way of making sure you don't get in trouble or you don't steal somebody. And all the logos were there. It had Civil Beat. That was their content. So, and
Mhm.
people knew that I wasn't there because I would play the live video and I would narrate with my microphone over, and it was live. And I think it went live for like 10 hours, but I wasn't there. I just had the camera feed up.
Mhm.
And I think I got like, I don't know, 30,000, 40,000 people watching. Well, it wasn't a lot compared to Civil Beat had millions of people watching. So, but it was the same feed. And
Right.
so, I don't know. I think if X allows it, I think it'll be good where people at least can protect their own content.
Yep.
It's not hard. I think it's just a matter of if somebody agreeing to it and they actually implement it. You know,
Mhm.
yeah.
I completely
Oh,
agree.
so here's one before I before we come here for a landing. Um, you ever heard of Eric? I think it's E Rock and a Nasty Cat. I think it's called.
Yeah.
Eric
Yeah.
Diaz, yeah,
Yep.
he's got some good content.
He's got some good content. Very
Yeah,
funny. And I like because he's a filmmaker, cinematographer.
yeah,
The 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 time it takes him to produce that and the what we get in return is amazing. It's great.
yeah.
It's his content is good.
Did you see that podcast I did with Irina Dordic, the Serbian? Um, she's a Serbian newscaster. It
Mm.
was like three podcasts. I'll tag you in it. So she's a Serbian journalist. I did a podcast with her. Never met her organically, but we've known each other for years, like since 2015. And she's an amazing content creator, but she doesn't do a lot of it because she's busy with her regular job. Um, and she does amazing documentaries. And what was I going to say about? And she brought up something really important that I now I'm very deliberate. I always write things out, but I'll share with you. Like I have my own script of things. We say script, but it's just a roadmap, right? It's just a
Mhm.
blueprint. But she says, and we were talking in private. I think after we went live, we talked off for a little bit, and she says, and I'm gonna pretend to be eating it. Greg, when you do your content, it's very good. I see it's very good, but you need to script your content. You need to script your content. Script. She says, and I'm like, okay, Irina, I get it. Because like I said earlier, I'm all about turn on the camera. I want to see the red light flash. Okay, let's go. Let's do it.
Mhm.
Uh, but then I remember like as a pastor for like you can't just operate like that. You have to actually study. You got to read. Hopefully, you read the Bible. If you're a
Mhm.
pastor, hopefully you read the Bible, and you got to know your scripture. You got to have notes, and okay. And then it's like for me, God, is this what you want me to share today? It should be no different when it comes to someone that's a great content creator. And Irina told me something important. She says when you create content, you can tell who the good ones are, and the good ones are usually the ones that script everything out. And Eric Diaz, I can guarantee he's got a script for everything he does.
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
don't think he just wings it. He's probably a very funny winged person in person, but for his video content, I'm pretty
Oh
sure
yeah.
everything is scripted out.
Oh,
Yeah,
because different angles and movements with the camera
yeah.
and different shots and lighting. Yeah, it definitely has to be scripted and pre-planned, thought out process with stuff like that. See, I'm learning all of these terms because I've been diving into what I'm going to need when I start producing these short films for the audio drama. So yeah, it's but
Do
yeah,
you have So I use Soundstripe for music. Do you use anybody for copyright for your music or sound effects?
epidemic sound.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think we talked about that before.
Hmm. Epidemic Sound is where I get all of my music for anything that I do, content creation, YouTube, Instagram, here on X. Yeah.
It takes a lot of time to put those things together. Like I'm not good at that, but I as soon as my boys actually have a desire to help dad, I'm gonna give them that job. You guys do sound effects. You guys do whatever video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm not. I do just enough to get by. But yeah, so and is it epidemic, endemic, epidemic,
Yeah.
epidemic?
Epidemic Sound.
There's another. So and you use Canva too, right? Don't you use Canva for some of your stuff, or
Yeah.
is that somebody else? Yeah.
Yeah. I
Did you
use
know
Canva.
Canva has music? Did you know that?
Yeah. Yeah. They
I
do.
didn't know. I just learned it the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's limited though, right? You can't make money. Like I can't put it on my on my channels because I get paid promotions and stuff. So I can't. I
Yeah.
think I don't know. Yeah.
Um, I think it depends on who it is with.
Yeah.
If it's on YouTube, their music would end up getting flagged. Everywhere else, I think it's good. I'd have to research into it. I usually just like it, like I said, Epidemic Sound and anything that I have. If I'm doing something in Canva, I can upload those tracks and utilize
Yeah.
that track that I download.
Well, let's not give away too many secrets, but let's keep it to
Yeah.
ourselves. You guys want the info? Sign up on our masterclass.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or just send us money. We'll share it with you. What's that saying? If you're ever good at something, never do it for
free.
never do it for free. People are like, you mean you're gonna charge? Yeah, I'm gonna charge. Man, it's expensive. My time is not cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I was kind of poking at people on social audio, being on there for 9 hours, and somebody said, well, you're doing live streams for 3 hours. Yeah, but I'm with a guest. So to justify what I was saying is, I love doing this because I get to honor you and we get to have conversations, and we get to for me it's controlling the arena, not the conversation, but controlling the arena, right? And
Mm-hmm.
hopefully that people can learn something hopefully they learn something from this.
Hopefully
if,
they learn something.
if anything, they learn about you and me. But yeah. So what is the next chapter for you outside of the book? What do you have any other chapters in your life that you're
Oh yeah, no, definitely. There's a couple more chapters that I need to finish writing the one that we're currently on. Get the kids out of off to school, but my dream car, it's the one that my grandfather had. It's 1967
ooh
Dodge Swinger.
Swinger?
Yeah.
They actually had a car named a Swinger? What the heck?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody.
Dodge Dart Swinger. Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Got to get that. Um, also starting to do some investing in myself. Starting up a construction company.
Ooh.
So yeah. So that's I think that's the next couple of chapters in my life. Get my dream car, get the kids out of, finish writing this chapter, get the kids off to school and have an empty nest. And then, have the construction company start up.
Well, why construction? I'm just curious. Like, what? You have a background
Why?
in construction?
Why construction? I'm a safety engineer by day,
Okay.
so that's my day job, and I've been in the construction field for a long time since I got out of the military. Started in refineries down in Texas, and I'm currently in construction. So yeah, it's there's always going to be something to build somewhere. So some land to clear, some demo to get done, to rebuild, so construction. Plus I'm in the field. I've been around all the different trades in the construction field, so why not start a construction company?
So we were gonna do a addition or renovation to our home in Hawaii many years ago. This is a long time ago. At the time, the contractor quoted us around, I want to say 300 a square foot per square foot for the renovation. So that space we needed to do was around 500. So you can do the math.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Oregon, I just for fun, I talked to a contractor. I said, "What are your guys' rates like for a renovation or a build?" He says they charge 450 per square foot,
Wow.
and I'm like, and I said, "Why do you charge so much?" He says, "Because people are paying it, and the people that are paying it most likely don't live in the house. They're just building it because they can."
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii is the same thing. It's up. I don't know what it is in Hawaii, but that's a lot of money. And funny you said that people will always be building. I just drove by a house yesterday. It was a huge house, like a mansion. I'm like, and they were still building it. And it's like, that's true. People are still building today. There is no recession for the wealthy. There is no such thing. And to kind of go back to what we were talking about earlier about how we can generate income, and as long as we're doing something we love, right? We had some family friends that are extremely wealthy. When there were political changes in government, it affected their business or one of their businesses. Funny thing is, they shut down the business, but they're still extremely wealthy because the skills that they have, they just apply it to another business.
Mm-hmm.
There's no recession for people like that. There's no recession, and it's not necessarily the people; it's the mindset, right? It's a mindset that they have, right? So, man, I wish you well in construction because that's what type of construction would you do? Residential primarily, you think?
I will have a subsidiary, a subdivision of residential, but I'm looking more into the industrial commercial side, big high rise buildings and industrial manufacturing plants. That's what I'm looking
Okay.
into.
All right. Well, we're gonna do rapid fire, but before we do rapid fire, anything on your heart before we get into the tough questions?
Anything on my heart?
Yeah, anything you want to share before we get into rapid fire?
I just want to thank you for a great conversation and the invite to such a great platform that you have here. I've caught some of your other episodes and your other guests, and great, and it's just an honor to be here and greatly appreciate the invite.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna do all my fancy virtual hugging and praise in the end, but all right, here we go. Number one, why did you do this podcast? And this is not a self gratification question. This is an honest question. Because Tal is like, he always asks the same question because he wants everybody to praise him. No, that's not the okay. So, anyways, I'm just picking on Tala. Why did you do this podcast? Question number one.
Because we cross paths in the social audio arena, and we were actually talking audio and tech. We were talking audio and tech and how to get sound, and we had like-minded individuals, and I thought you were a cool dude, so I was like, man, let me connect with g.LO, and interacting with you more, and seeing the platform that you have, and it really was an honor for you to invite me onto the platform. Greatly appreciate that. But I mean, it's good conversation, and at this day and age and where we're at now, you need a lot more of those good conversations.
I remember when I heard your voice, I'm like, dude, this guy's he's got like a sexy, deep voice, man. What the heck is going on over here? He's got this deep voice. He's like all in the mic, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna talk to this guy because he's obviously got some sound engineering background or something. So if you remember, I try to pick your brain, right, on some questions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. All right, number two. What scares you?
Uh, that's a good one. Uh, I would I would not say death, but scared of dying without leaving my legacy, and for my kids to know that their dad was a legend. Uh, but yeah, without leaving my legacy, my footprint on this earth, I think that's what scares me the most. I'm not done. My job's not done yet. I still got lots of life to live, lots of seeds to plant, and people to help. So I think leaving too soon
Yeah,
uh, is what scares me.
I feel you on that one. As a parent, that's a legit feeling for sure. Number three, money not an issue, or if money is never an issue, money or logistics not an issue. Where are you taking your family for a 30-day vacation?
Ooh, that's a good one. We like cruises, but money not an issue. I think the first place we would end up going would be a nice tour down in Mexico. Hit all the 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 good places that get recommended, like we see on social media. But me personally, I want to go over to Australia. I want my girls to visit Australia, like I had the chance to when I was in the military, and possibly Santorini with all the kids.
Where's Santorini?
What is it? Santorini, Greece?
Oh, Greece.
Yeah,
Oh, with the pretty water.
blue
They have the
water. Yeah.
beautiful water over there.
Hmm.
Yeah. Number four, Bitcoin or cash?
Cash.
Ooh, journeyman, will you stay, brother? Number five, cast vision or dream?
Hmm. Vision.
That's actually a good answer because I wasn't going to preach, but there's a very famous passage in the Bible. It says that for my people perish without vision, right? They will perish for lack of vision.
Hmm.
Yeah, that can be a whole political slogan. Number six, steak or seafood?
Ooh. Could I have the best of both worlds with the surf
Nope.
and turf?
You got to pick one.
If I have to pick one, I'd have to go steak.
What kind of steak?
I would probably do a New York strip, medium rare.
I actually like New York strip better than ribeye. A lot of people are like, what?
Yeah.
Ribeye is overrated, but
Yep.
ribeye is good. Um, the thing with ribeye, it's got the loin, it's got the little two nuggets, and
Hmm.
it's got the spinalis doralis, which is what we call the cap.
The cap.
I'm a geek, by the way, but yeah.
Yep.
Uh, now, if I had my way, I would cut off the cap and roll it into a little loin, tie it off, and cook it that way. That's the
Hmm.
oh, if you guys haven't tried that, but New York strip, it's got the nice fat cap.
Yep.
You make it crispy, you cook the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had the privilege of trying A5 Wagyu while you were
Yes.
overseas? Yeah.
Yes. That
Up,
is
yeah,
some good
yeah.
meat.
It's not for Texans because you can't eat a lot of it. It's all fat, right? It's like probably 20% muscle tissue and
Hmm.
80% fat. But it's so good. Oh my god.
So
It's
good.
not cheap either. It's not cheap. But okay.
No.
What are we on? Number six, seven, number seven. Can't even read my own writing. Oh, this is an easy one. Our Twitter family will love this question. What's up, June Ann? I see June Ann on Instagram. Thank you for joining us, June Ann. Wow, haven't seen them in a while. Okay, Squirrel number 7. You have to pick one, and remember, we are in 2024. You have to pick one, and this is the way of the future for you. If you had to pick one way of the future for your content creation needs, you have to pick one: social audio or live stream video.
Mm. Oh, I'd have to go with live stream video.
I
I would have.
agree.
I would have to
Now,
go live stream.
there's a workaround to that. People don't know this, and it only works on iPhones, because iPhone has a feature where it can play in the background, where Androids can't do it. And on iPhones, you can swipe the video to the left, and it'll hide the video behind the phone, and you can still
Mhm.
scroll,
Yep.
and check out other things. So, yeah, so there's a workaround. Now, of course, it's not Spaces, but at least you get something.
Yeah.
Number 8, Run DMC or Flavor Flav.
Run DMC. Flavor Flav
It's no,
with Public Enemy, still great group. Flavor Flav and Flavor Love, like that. I get it, but nah, Run DMC all
yeah.
day.
Number 9, if God said, Pedro, I'm going to give you one, and I'm going to insert it into your vocal cord. You can only pick one. You have to pick one of the two. Okay. First one is the asthma laugh, where you wheezing when you're laughing, or the cackle laugh. Which one are you picking?
I would have to say the cackle laugh.
Oh, Lord help us. Lord help us. We really know who you are. No politics, family. Okay, number 10. This is the final question of a rapid fire. This is not really rapid fire, by the way. For those who are like, man, that's not a rapid fire question. The last question I ask everybody, the same question, is what is your desire for the next generation after you've done everything you know you can do in your lifetime and you pass away? What is your desire for the next generation?
Oh man, my desire for the next generation is for them to be better than we were, in a sense, to get back to uplifting and really focusing on building true connections, true community. Um, I think the next generation that comes is gonna, it's only getting harder, and yeah, that's really what I want the next generation to do, is get back to, you know, being a person, not just a person behind a computer screen, not just a person behind a camera, but tapping into, you know, what it is to be a human being, right? Connection, communication, feelings, emotion, thoughts, dreams, nightmares, ups, downs, but be open and talk about it. I think our generation currently is not talking about it enough. So that's what I would say.
Well, I will say you are doing it. You're legendary. Um, Being a dad of 4 girls, you're raising the next generation. And I forget which leader came into town. We were My wife and I just became pastors of a church in Kaido, Oahu, and one of the leaders said, who is helping us, mentoring us, and so we were struggling for growth, and he says, just have more babies. And he was laughing because we already had 3 or 4 at the time. He's just have more babies. That's a cheat code if you want to grow your church. Well, the cheat code to advance the next generation family is to have, as Elon says, have more babies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, you want to do it right. So, um, I want to say I appreciate you, Pedro, for the time that you've invested in. And I know there's a lot more things we can talk about, especially with your military career, but I just felt like we'd do abroad today, and chapter 2 will come
Hmm.
another time. How can people connect with you on your socials? What's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, no, everybody can, reach me, shoot me a DM, Dro the Sound God on all social media platforms except for LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it's Pedro and my last name. You can look me up. You'll see an orange background behind my profile picture. So, but yeah, that's the best way. If you on the platform, shoot me a DM. And I'll get back to you.
So me and Pedro took the same red pill. We both took the red pill that says when you make your accounts, same user handle on everyone. So yeah, brother, I appreciate you, and you know the drill. I'll take you off screen, and then after we're done live, if you don't mind hanging out in the green room, we'll see our final goodbyes then.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Thank you for having me again. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate it, G.LO.
Well, thank you, bro. Family, if you want to connect with him, that's his user handle on all socials. Um, not just a great content creator, not just a great host of social audio or live streams, but he's a great friend. He's a father of four. I'm excited to see what his next chapter is going to pan out for him and his family. And I'm just excited. For those of you that are wondering, what is this? I have people on Instagram and other channels I'm seeing today, and they're like, what is this? These are just conversations. This is what we call long form content, podcasting, live stream, whatever you want to call it. The name of this show is g.LO Sessions, not g.LO Sessions, not just a podcast. It's a live stream, but it is a podcast for those people that receive it as such. So I just want to say thank you for those of you that have been here. Tala has been here for the entire time. Thank you. Sue in Canada, thank you. And of course, Sarah as well in Canada, and on all of our audiences and those that connected with me through Pedro and through Slay or Drill the Sound God on all his socials. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing this out, family. We would love for this to get out. Obviously, we wanted to go viral, ain't gonna lie, but even if you just share it with one person, that would be amazing. We would greatly appreciate it. We thank you for all that. Um, we have a couple more guests lined up for the month of August. I can't tell you yet because they have to sign the forms. So it's kidding. They do have to sign the forms. But outside of that, family, thank you for hanging out. I'm blessed to have this conversation. You have just witnessed g.LO Sessions number 55 here on your platform. My name is Brother Greg. On behalf of myself, Brother Dro, our families who have sacrificed 3 hours of their time without their dads, thank you for being here. And we hope that the exchange of your time for this was worth it. So from the bottom of my heart, our hearts want to say, love you guys. God bless you guys. Ahui ho. Aloha and mahalo. Yes. Chew.